I got the middle of the shell at the ear here.
Yeah, Steve's got his turtle.
Is way bigger than my head. That is
so
for
this
sure.
week we're having Steve with his turtle. Or tortoise. I'm sorry.
That's not a
tortoise. That is not a turtle.
Okay, so all tortoises are turtles, but not all turtles are tortoises. It's like a square rectangle thing. All right.
Time is a flat circle is what I just learned from what Steve just said.
It kills me in a lot of ways that Adam was technically taxonomically correct.
Yeah, well, Adam is irrelevant because he refuses to play fantasy football with us because $5 is too much or whatever.
Bro, whatever.
Well, this league is too rich for his blood. So he would never. Too rich for his blood. Speaking of rich for his blood, Steve, let's see the.
Oh, yeah. Hold on. Let me grab that.
I want to see both of them. So Steve has both of the prizes. So he has the trophy that we're going to engrave that's going to be more stationary, but then he also has the belt, which is going to be passed around the league. So, yeah, Steve's going to go get that. Excellent. Thank you, everybody, for pitching in for that because I think that's really cool.
It's also, it's one of the things that every good Dynasty League should have is like something that you actually tangibly can get that's like cool.
Also, we got to have Danny help us with the designs and everything. It's awesome.
Yeah, big shout out to him.
Yeah, I don't think anyone has seen it yet with the actual art. So let's see it, Steve.
Well, here we go. First, we'll start with the trophy.
We will all learn how bad our cameras are now.
Yep. Yeah. Steve's is probably the worst.
Yeah. But yeah, so just because I don't have a ton of...
So how's that? Is that actual metal or is that like a plastic cup?
We can't
We can't hear that. That sounds like metal.
It's metal, baby.
Okay, cool.
It's like an aluminum, I think.
Don't drop it, basically, is what you're saying.
Yeah, don't drop. You will dent this thing.
Yeah, I'm sure.
If it takes too much impact.
Don't be Travis Kelsey.
Yeah, don't do that.
Or was that? No, that was Gronk.
So we do have.
It was Gronk. It was Gronk because he spiked it.
No, I thought he hit. I thought he baseball hit something with it.
Something
like that.
I forget. Whatever.
Yeah. Okay, so it has the logo and then the placard, and then below where it says League of Ordinary Jabronis is where we're going to put the plaques.
Put all the engravings.
So the engraving plaques we'll have to send to get engraved. So what I wanted to figure out is we put I think the team name and then the player's name and then I think the year obviously, but then also I think the MVP, so that team who wins it all gets to pick a player they thought was the most important to kind of immortalize the player that they had on their team. Because personally, I like going back and looking at old leagues and looking at everyone's roster because it's really interesting. Like a lot of the players are like, they get shifted out throughout the season, whatever. But everyone remembers that player that like CMC or Austin Eckler, where it's like they made the difference. And when you go back and look at them, you're like, oh man, Julio Jones was a killer that year. That sort of stuff is really interesting to me. So like in 5 years, it'll be cool to look back at the trophy and be like, dude, CMC killed it, or shit like that. That was the Tyreek Hill year. Yeah, I think that'd be a cool way to immortalize that. Some placards I've seen, they do like a larger placard that they put the whole team, so like the entire roster that was played. But I think that's overkill because it's like you have your bench and we have like we have 30 fucking players. It's just too much.
Yeah, the league is way too deep for that.
Yeah, which is great.
Anyway,
but
let's see it, Steve. I know. I see you trying to.
Here's the belt.
Oh.
Yeah.
I'm trying to get it without the significant.
That's not happening. We're gonna see everything.
Yeah, here.
It's too tiny.
We'll have to probably get some pictures.
Shiny.
So when I post
pictures, Steve.
When I post the episode,
post some pictures,
here. But so the art that's on there. So you have that is Stephon Diggs with the Minnesota Miracle, and then the league logo, and then on the middle of the belt we have the David Tyree helmet catch and the Marshawn Lynch Beast Quake Selly. and then another logo, and then the OBJ catch. So we have immortalized some iconic plays.
Fun sports moments.
Yeah.
Exactly.
We also had a mock-up
And just
design
give it-
which included the Mark Sanchez butt fumble, but that did not make the cut. However, I do think it would be funny to get a mug that we give the last place team to drink from at the draft, which will have the butt fumble on it. I think that'd be hilarious.
We should vote on the butt fumble or the butt punt.
All right.
Or both.
One
The
of
butt
those
fumble.
kind of like iconic goofs.
I don't know. The butt fumble is like legendary. The butt punt is, I don't know. It's a little niche because it's a punt.
Yeah. It's a
I
punt.
guess, yeah. Anyway, we'll come back to that, and we'll have to figure that one out. Anyway,
All right.
let's get into the matchups.
Let's get into matchups. We're gonna start. I want to do mine last again.
These are week 15, so you got to go back.
Oh, you're right. Good catch.
Yeah, no, I was like trying to figure that out. I was like, what?
It's like,
what
what
is
is
this?
going on here? Actually, let's
How
get
does
since
this-
Trevor is busy, he might join us. We'll see. I guess we'll start with mine. Fuck it,
Yeah, we could. Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
dude. I got
So-
shit on.
So Targus,
So,
eliminated.
I
by
was
Matt.
eliminated this week. Brutal. Yeah, two touchdowns in 4 weeks is not gonna cut it.
Woof. This game is just touchdowns, though. Just
Dude.
get touchdowns.
Yeah.
Literally, like if you don't have players that
That
don't
is
get
it.
touchdowns, you're just fucked. So like, I don't know. I had a couple good like bright spots here. Like Drake London finally was a factor in the game, and he had like one of the coolest fucking plays I've ever seen. Because and part of this is like
Pray for our man here.
Desmond Ritter is terrible. That's like part of the issue here. But like this should have been, this is basically an interception. So like he throws it straight to the DB, and then Drake London,
Just high points.
he
the shit out of
basically
that.
intercepts this. So like the way I read it,
did.
when I watched this, I was like, that looks like an interception. Like that is this
Looks like a pick.
extension.
Yeah.
This extension right here.
Yeah, that's what a DB
That's
does.
what a
Yeah.
DB. That's what a
That's a
DB
DB.
does to
That's-
pick a ball. And what
Dude,
the
one of the
DB
best-
is doing is what a wide receiver does to catch a ball. So I was just like, Drake London just intercepted his own pass. What the fuck is that?
Yeah. That's
Dude,
crazy.
oh man, I can't believe you. Dude,
You can see the DB like so fucking
172
ate on
yards.
He didn't even get it. He
damn.
got the 2-point conversion, but he didn't get the fucking touchdown. I had two
One of
players
the-
with 2-point conversions this week.
One of the wildest trades that I've seen come out of the mock draft world right now is putting Justin Fields on this team, and it's like
I actually don't hate that because
it's like
Yo, that's a
he's got the
clear
deep ball,
upgrade.
man. He can fucking go deep.
It's a clear upgrade from Ritter.
I mean, everyone's a clear upgrade from Ritter, man. Like,
But I mean, I guess what I mean that's true. What I
Ritter
mean
was
to
bad
say
in
is that
college,
They have
so-
a similar style of play. With
Well,
like the
Justin
kind of-
Justin Fields
the
actually has
running,
mobility.
scrambling.
Desmond
Exactly.
Desmond
Exactly.
Ritter is like
Not doing good at it.
he's not like stone feet. Like he's actually got several rushing touchdowns this year.
He can move.
He
yeah,
can move, but he's not a threat at the goal line like
Yeah, not
Justin
not a
Fields, like Lamar
or-
Jackson, like
yeah,
Josh
Justin.
Allen. Like those
Yep.
players are much
Yep.
more athletic than Desmond
Yeah.
is. But the issue
And
with Desmond
can
Ritter
do
is
that.
that he is inaccurate. Like he is okay at processing what he sees, but he's inaccurate as fuck. And it's so frustrating because all of last season, the Falcons' offensive weapons dealt with a similar issue with Marcus Mariota, who seriously
yeah.
regressed. He used to be a fairly good quarterback. He was competent, but just as a Falcon, going from Matt Ryan to this, it's been rough. And it's a big reason why the whole fire Arthur Smith thing is a thing, is because the quarterback situation is so poor that he's kind of shoehorned into running an offense that's just really, really run heavy. But then he gets cute with it and then does all this shit with his third and fourth string players on his offense that don't make a lot of sense. But the last couple of weeks, we've actually seen a change in terms of the personnel packages he puts out there, and he's actually scheming stuff up. Like Kyle Pitts, he got a touchdown, a good touchdown too, like a 36-yard touchdown.
Kyle Pitts delivered on the promise of his draft that he was an elite level athlete at the tight end position
like, the
that should be an
third
X receiver
time
as well.
ever.
Well, he's also still hurt, I think, because last year he tore his MCL. It was a sprain, but you don't get surgery for a sprained MCL. You just
Also sprains are tears.
no, this was a
yeah.
this was a
It's
tear.
just different grades.
Some minors.
The
your minor
Falcons
tears
came
versus
out-
major tears.
The Falcons came out and said it was a MCL sprain, but then he ended up having season-ending surgery after they said that it was a sprain. That's not a sprain. This dude had a full MCL tear and possibly a torn meniscus as well because of the amount of time it's taken to recover from it. He is over a year removed from that surgery, and he still doesn't look right. That whole shit that I talked about early on in the season about how he can only turn left is real. His route tree
Still
reverse Zoolander. His route tree
nice.
last week was similar in that all of his routes, well, the majority of them, were pivoting to the left over that injured leg. Where what was cool about this touchdown, though, is that he actually turned right on the route and then scored.
The actual reverse Zoolander.
Magnum.
Yeah, he blue steeled it. I was very
Right.
impressed.
Yeah. Okay. So he's been doing the Magnum the whole time.
He was doing the Magnum the whole time,
and now he's finally
he blue steeled it. Yep.
Well, Pittman, I mean, he had a good game for
He's
you.
a stud. Pittman's a stud. And then
Yeah.
on top of that, Pittman also got me the 2-point conversion. So I have as many 2-point conversion points in the last 4 weeks as I do touchdowns.
Jesus.
That's not a winning
What?
formula.
What
I started
happened
5-0.
with this?
Well, it's all bad quarterback play and I've talked about this. Like George Pickens
Yeah.
doesn't have a wide receiver. Marquise Goodwin
doesn't have a quarterback.
doesn't
have a
QB.
quarterback.
He
It
has
doesn't.
wide
Sorry,
receivers.
doesn't have a.
Yeah.
I'm
No one has
thinking
a
too
QB.
quickly.
None of these dudes have QBs.
None of them have QBs. It's brutal.
Yeah, they're all screwed.
I mean, on the other side though, you got a bunch of floor games. I mean, even CeeDee Lamb had a good game, but 71 yards is a floor. Garrett Wilson, man, pray for our guy Garrett Wilson.
Mm-hmm.
Nick Bosa was Nick Bosa doing Nick Bosa things.
Mhm.
I can explain exactly why after watching a full game and not just a set of drives by Drew Lock of exactly why he is not it.
He's a backup
What?
quarterback.
Well, it's if you
That's what
think
he
of
is.
quarterbacks, well, yes, he is a backup quarterback, but if you think of quarterbacks as you need to be able to throw the ball, and then there's 3 skills you need to have to be elite as a quarterback, and that's athleticism for extending plays, mobility, build a process, and then your pocket presence, awareness, whatever you want to call your ability to work the pocket. He has not enough of 2 of the 3 things which can make you a good quarterback, and he cannot hit the top of his drop. He absolutely cannot do that, and that's the baseline skill you need to run an offense effectively is being able to hit the top of your drop and get the ball out. He
I was
cannot do that.
I was actually pleasantly surprised with Drew Lock's level of play. I was expecting, I was joking, how he was just gonna throw arm punts all day. I was memeing about how they would get 4 touchdowns and 3 interceptions and win it on a field goal. But it actually ended up being a pretty decent effort by him because he ended up getting 2 touchdowns and 2 interceptions, which were both arm punts.
I mean, he had a 70% completion percentage. It's not.
He was not the
bad.
issue. I want to
He's
put
not
that
bad.
first and
It was
foremost.
just
It was the defense giving up yet again 500 yards to the 49ers. That was the issue.
It's just it's just very clear. He's on his second contract. He's he's on a second contract. He was a second round pick, and if has shown very little signs of development. So sorry for the tangent, but like, yeah, he ain't it, guys.
No, I mean he's obviously not the starter.
Yeah.
I think he's completely serviceable as a backup, though. Like that, he's not. You know, name any number of bust or I keep doing this, bust quarterbacks that have filled in for injury this season and looked awful. He's stepping in and is actually like producing and looks
He's a
competent.
secret agent man.
Yeah,
Well,
kind
no,
of, but better.
He's better than that.
He's better than that.
Yeah, he's better than that.
Yeah.
He's probably like the 25th best starting quarterback if he has to start. You know what I mean?
He's definitely in the Josh Dobb range of like outcomes. Like it could be good or it could be real bad.
In terms of, if you want to talk about fantasy,
really good.
If you want to talk about fantasy, he could be a 25-point guy or a 3-point guy. He that is his range. Like his ceiling isn't Josh Allen, and his floor is I lost my week.
Gonna lose you the week.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like AOC with 8 points or whatever. That's like that's what you can expect, and you're happy if you get around 20 points from him. You know.
Yeah.
So.
Well, seeing as how he's not relevant anymore.
Yeah.
Gambus and Williams. That's a rough chuckle, guys.
Yeah.
Just wanted to point that one out.
Yeah.
He's gambling.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a bad game. It was a bad Gampa.
I had a couple clips I wanted to show. So like the Charbonnet usage in this game was basically just run into a offensive lineman's back and fall down unless there was a hole. And I was largely unimpressed with both running backs in this game, but in my opinion, K9 is like at least a tier above Charbonnet because of this. Like, yeah, he does the happy feet thing, but this is a negative play. The corner comes down.
So amazing.
The corner comes down, and then he runs like 80 yards on this play. He reverses exactly. He reverses the whole field on a busted play where you shouldn't get anything out of this, and turns it into a first down. Charbonnet isn't doing this. And it's really frustrating.
That's no cornerback. That's Frank Warner. That's
Fred.
the fucking linebacker who misses that tackle.
Dude, no, that's all pro Frank Warner.
Like, yeah, that's all pro. Like that is a dude. And he's
worst,
just turning around and like, whoop, let me spin out of
worst. Dude, at worst, Fred Warner is the second best linebacker in the league. At
he's great.
Worst.
But the usage for Charbonnet through half the game was basically it was all Charbonnet, and then they just flipped to Kenneth Walker, and then he ended up getting hurt again, and then he came out of the game and didn't play.
Did somebody play Charbonnet? Is there a reason we're like going into this right now?
Oh no, it's just it's because K9 is the player I played. I wanted to point out so like the utilization of the players.
So this is one rush.
Extremely frustrating for both owners of both Charbonnet and Kenneth Walker, because
you get
they submarine each other's value. But when I'm watching the games, to me K9 just looks like a better football player because his vision is better and he has more agility.
And
you have an Aaron Jones situation here.
Just faster.
Well, see, Aaron Jones.
You have an early Aaron Jones situation. I mean, now this year he's been, but like when he was first breaking out,
Kenneth Walker was a top 10, like not even just fantasy, but like real football.
No, he was big. Yeah,
you bring in Charbonnet.
Finalist.
Yeah, you bring in
like Walker was a Heisman finalist. Like Charbonnet,
dude, Walker was the offense in Michigan.
Weird usage.
Yeah,
straight up.
Well, I don't know if it's weird, as in more as like just
the Seahawks
injury. This is just injury.
Yeah.
Well, even before he got injured, they were using Charbonnet, in my opinion, too much. Like either
that's
use Charbonnet in short yardage situations where you don't want Kenneth Walker getting happy feet and then dancing around and then losing a yard when you needed to convert because it's like a third down or something, and just let Kenneth Walker have the field for the majority of the game. And if he gets hurt, then you throw Charbonnet in there full time like they did last week. That was fine. But then when they're both healthy like
okay.
this, it's like
Okay.
you have to give one of them 80% of the carries with the way that their play style works. They need momentum. They need touches to be able to see things. But like, I don't think Charbonnet has amazing vision. He just has great toughness
He's
I mean,
tough.
that's just
Yeah,
and can
that's
just
just
punch
running
through
backs,
things.
generally.
Yeah. He's
I
a
mean,
power
I mean,
back.
Charbonnet, like
Either
his
way,
the real problem that keeps him off the field for the short yardage stuff is that he's a rookie and is just like a rookie pass protector.
But like every time that
totally
he gets a
experienced,
touch, he gets a yard.
Yeah.
You know? So
Maybe,
it's
yeah.
not like Kenneth Walker's range is like he can get -7 because he runs backwards. But like he can get -7, but then you give him the ball again and he gets 50. Charbonnet isn't breaking these 50-yard chunks ever. He gets like 10 yards, 3 yards,
Yeah.
1
You
yard.
can blame the nerds
8
for
yards,
this, though. You can
know?
blame the nerds. Like that's just expected value, though. Like that kind of like calculation.
Yeah. You probably can sympathize with this. George Pickens and Deontay Johnson yet again had really, really awful body language during this game. So like last week, Deontay Johnson was fucking giving up
Oh,
on
man.
plays, and then this was George Pickens. He's standing there. That's during a play. Like that feels so bad.
Dude,
He's just getting
as much as
toasted
it-
by the media.
as much
too.
as people want to like bag on Kenny Pickett for being bad, which there's no evidence of him being good, your downgrade is significantly worse, and it's Mitch Trubisky. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't blame either of these guys. And Matt Canada's offense was a problem, but if you're going to fire somebody halfway through the season, offenses don't magically change. Like
Yeah,
that's
get
never
a
been a thing.
replacement. Like,
Right.
yeah,
Well,
it's,
like-
yeah, exactly. You'd need to do
Yeah.
like a whole reinstall, which is like, nope, you're stuck.
That's an
here.
off-season thing. Like
Yeah,
it just
yeah,
is.
you can't do
Yeah,
that.
I just get it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's bad and like it's whatever, but like
Yeah, but you're still
that's just the
stuck
way
in
it is.
So
Yeah.
like I think we give Kenny Pickett another year. Like I'm in that camp where I'm not sold on his ability. Like Desmond Ridder, I already think he's nothing. But I think Kenny Pickett, Justin Fields, like these players, they need more time. to
Guys that
really
have flashed
show.
and are still on their rookie deals, keep them around.
Same with like
That's
Bryce
basically how it
Young. Like Bryce Young, like he's not, his career isn't over. These quarterbacks have had really bad careers so far. But like
Also, it's
the situation they're in is pretty awful.
They've been on bad teams.
Right.
I don't know that they've necessarily had bad careers.
well,
I
they
mean,
haven't had careers yet.
Because
most of them.
right.
they've
Most
been
of
in the
them
league
have
for a
had
year max,
injury.
you know.
Yeah, a
So-
year or two.
Yeah.
Maybe 3, depending on who you are.
Yeah,
But
I mean, Fields,
yeah.
this is his third year, but he's been fucking injured all the time.
yeah, Kenny Pickett, this is his second year. Like, yeah,
Yeah.
I think, right? Yeah.
Yeah, he was around.
2021, the only
Um,
quarterback drafted in the first round.
Is there anybody else you wanted to talk about?
Yeah, so there's a
Anybody-
couple things I wanted to say. Josh Dobbs threw the definition of a hospital ball at Justin Jefferson, and that pissed me off because Justin Jefferson is a baller and will try and catch anything you throw at him, even when you shouldn't. So he high points it. He has to adjust because Josh Dobbs threw it like 10 feet over his head and gets slammed in the back. And
goes to the hospital.
goes to the hospital. He ended up in the hospital after that play. So that was brutal. It wouldn't have mattered anyway. I think Danny had such a big lead that even if Justin Jefferson had a vintage, 33-point game, I don't think it would have mattered. Yeah, I would have won, but I still would have been out of the playoffs. So I can't be too upset about it.
Yeah, you would have been. You would have been.
Would have been out anyway.
And you would have been subbed out instead of eliminated. But,
Yeah.
whatever. Results the same.
Yep. I would have got the
Same.
double. I would have got the double stuff because I got snubbed in the RCML and then I was 7th. So if I got the 6th, I would have been bonked out of both
Both of them. Yeah.
in both of our
Yeah.
leagues. Yep. Let's talk about Matt. CeeDee Lamb. Again, amazing game. Garrett Wilson's also had a best game of the year. It was vintage
Oh.
Garrett Wilson. We know what he can be.
Yeah.
You know,
I mean, that's what Garrett Wilson should be if he has competency delivering him the ball. I don't know what the fuck did Aaron
do you think
Rodgers like
do you think
zoom
Zach
in?
Wilson bought himself another season
No, no.
with this game?
No.
This
I
Well,
mean, he bought
yes,
a season on
absolutely.
another team. On
Put
another team.
him. No, no, no.
Like,
He stays on the Jets. He stays on the Jets
as a backup.
because the as the backup
Yeah.
because Aaron will come back. I have no doubt.
He's like the
Aaron comes
budget
back
Drew
at this point.
Bledsoe at this point.
He's
Except
like,
there's no Tom Brady to take his
he's
job.
your backup with 3 years
also,
of
Drew
NFL
Bledsoe,
experience.
didn't he win a ring on his own before Brady showed up?
He did.
Yeah, so I don't think we can put Zach Wilson. I mean, I guess
we're not
budget.
there
if
yet,
Zach
but-
Wilson gets a ring before Justin Herbert gets a ring, I'm gonna fucking riot.
Dude,
All right. This is
you
all
already
I'm
saw
gonna
my
say.
nickname change. Everybody saw the nickname change I gave him. He
Yeah.
chargered.
He
It's gonna
charged
be
it.
like, yo,
Yeah,
charger.
yeah,
Come on, man.
yeah.
We'll get
Anyway,
to that.
like,
We'll get to that.
dude, all I'm gonna say is that as much as Aaron Rodgers is an absolute jackass who ruined the Green Bay Packers, he does seem like he's good at teaching quarterback. At least if you buy like that Jordan Love's development
I don't buy
point
that he
that
helped
has
Jordan
been
Love at all,
partially-
though. I don't buy that. I think Jordan Love is smart and watched a lot of film and had the opportunity to practice alongside and absorb some of his tendencies, which you see all the time.
They both say that they helped each other. That Aaron helped Jordan out. I mean, I don't know.
I
if-
don't
If that
think
wasn't
Maybe.
that.
true, I don't
Maybe.
think Jordan would be saying that this time. You know.
Yeah.
I think
I
it
don't.
would be
I don't
okay
think that
for
it
Jordan to
was
say,
as
like,
contentious as everybody made it out to be. In
I
all
don't think so
honesty.
either.
I don't
Yeah,
think
I
that's
think
a
it
real
was-
thing.
I would hope
And
not.
I don't think it
and
was
I
like
think-
pleasant for him
Yeah, I
that
don't
night.
think it was pleasant.
No, I mean Aaron definitely, by his own admission, poured 4 fingers of scotch and drank the whole glass.
Yep.
And then, but then also by like his own telling and Jordan's telling helped Jordan a lot, and like actually was a friend to him because of the way Favre treated Aaron. Aaron didn't want to do that for some rook. I mean, that makes sense.
No.
He also
I
told
would
him it
believe
was his
that.
team at the end of the season.
Right.
Like,
Yeah,
he
which
fully
is, like-
acknowledged, we know, I know what this is. We know what that's
Yeah.
going on.
yeah, exactly.
Everybody
he
was
knew
in,
what was-
yeah. There was
Everybody knew
expectations.
everything that was going to happen, and that was the plan from the beginning. And then Aaron wants to keep playing football. He wants to try and do the impossible and create success in the Jets. Right?
Yeah.
That's the thing that cements his legacy as like the best of all time or whatever. If you can take the fucking shit ass Jets to the Super Bowl and win it, then
Well,
he goes.
Let's see what happens next season.
But I mean,
Yeah.
that's what I
Anyway,
think is in
let's-
his
let's
mind
not
as the
talk
winner.
about Packers.
Speaking of Aaron Rodgers, did you see Randall Cobb's touchdown?
Yeah, I
I just
did.
imagine Aaron
Look,
Rodgers
vintage.
just punching air
That's
like,
why
yeah, that's my man. Keep him on the
That's why
team,
I
please. Don't cut
That's
him.
why I think that Aaron Rodgers ayahuasca meditated into Zach
Oh
Wilson
my
again.
god, that was so
Like,
fucking
because
dumb.
Randall Cobb got a touchdown.
It's like we
and
had a
an
Randall Cobb
extremely
touchdown this
Aaron
week. We
such
had
an Aaron Rodgers touchdown. Like,
Garrett
uh,
Wilson went for over 100 yards. Yeah.
we
yeah, the
had
Jets went off.
we had 2 more Jimmy Graham touchdowns this week, I guess. Like it was like what the fuck was this week?
No, I hate
Lots
the
of tight
Saints
ends went off, dude.
So
Lots
much.
of tight
I
ends
hate the
went
Saints
off.
I
too.
hate the Saints
it's
so
bad.
much.
It's so bad.
Fuck the entire NFC South. There is not
Well,
a
not the
good
Falcons.
team among the bunch.
The Falcons.
Last
No,
okay,
fuck the
last thing
Falcons.
before we end this matchup, I just want to shout out Tremaine Edmonds and Jesse Bates. They both had good games.
So did Nick Bosa and TJ Edwards. They also balled out. They were fun to watch. I enjoyed it.
Or not Tremaine Edmonds, TJ Edwards.
Yeah.
I always get those. So whatever.
I'm
Anyway.
surprised Laporta got as little points as he did.
I'm not.
But-
Fucking
No.
Jared Goff is on my team, which means he's poison. So
It's also a tight end, dude. Like tight ends boom and
Detroit
bust. That's the whole
is-
thing, man. Like-
Detroit is in the midst of this weird spectacular collapse. Like they lost to Chicago and they lost to
hey,
Green
so
Bay
is
their
so are
last
the
2
Dolphins.
games. Like,
To a bad.
Yeah,
after his
Goff had 2.
after that chunk of his arm got taken out and it fucked up his tattoo, he hasn't been the same. He's upset.
Well, The
I mean,
that and Tyreek Hill not being able to run full speed and his center going out also don't help.
Yeah,
yeah,
we'll
all of
actually
that.
that's a good segue to the next matchup because I wanted to talk about that.
Yes, Tyreek Hill.
Yeah. So
Someone finally punched
Steve,
back.
Steve and Casey's matchup. So Tyreek Hill came out of this game, and it was like, yeah, he's dead because he was another
Apparently,
victim of the hip drop tackle.
yeah, he got rolled up on, but apparently he texted his wife, which is legal to do by NFL rules, to be
Which is
like,
fucking crazy.
I got injured. He was just like, oh yeah, my foot got rolled up on, and it hurts. And apparently his wife texted back, get your ass back out on the field.
That's hilarious.
and
That's
that's
hilarious.
That's
what
really
he
funny. Yeah.
did. So, like, all right, props to Tyreek's wife for like knowing how to motivate Tyreek Hill. I think that's a fun story.
Well,
Tyreek Hill has grown on me. I mean, there's the whole thing about how he allegedly punched his pregnant girlfriend in the stomach and bruised her and then hurt his son or whatever. Like, he's arguably a piece of shit, but like he's done things this season that have been pretty endearing, like giving the ball to his mom on that 70+ yard touchdown. And this, like,
Yeah, that's
yeah,
fun.
I don't know. Maybe
And
he's learning to not be a piece of shit. I
he's
don't know.
the when he did the camera phone thing and the NFL fired him, Tyreek says, "I'm paying your salary for life."
Yeah.
Just,
The random, like, it was, I
the
think
cameraman.
he was like a
It was like
college
it
kid
was
or
a
something. He's trying to get
yeah,
into
it was like
media as a
sideline
journalist.
exactly some
Yeah.
sideline
Photographer
photographer
for the NFL. Yeah.
who just
Yeah.
like hands him his
Part-time
phone,
job. Yeah.
and it's like, yeah, all right, like
And that kid
the
got
NFL.
banned. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah, he got banned.
Yeah.
Tyreek's like, your
Again, the no
salary's
fun
paid for
league.
life. Like, exactly. The NFL used the video in their own fucking promotion, and the kid gets banned.
No fun
It's
league,
like,
Steve. That's
no
the rules
fun
around
league.
here.
No,
Well,
No
no funds
showboating.
league. You
Yeah.
don't get anything for your content. Your
Justin
content is straight stolen, and you have no rights to it.
Yeah.
NFL dude. Uh,
NFL.
Justin Fields, absolutely is buying himself, like, if not another year on the Bears, like somebody's gonna give him a real shot next year.
He
If
had
he
a
gets
great
traded.
game.
He had
He
a
looked
huge
really
game.
good. He looked
He
really,
looked
really
great.
good.
It made
And
the
he's done
Bears
this.
look
Like,
good.
he's done this throughout the years. He has games where he looks real fucking good.
Do you
And
think
if it, like,
do you think
yeah.
it's at the point now where the Bears trade down, load up on a late first or maybe two late firsts or something
They
and
need linemen.
some seconds and then invest in their line?
I mean, if I'm Ryan Poles, this is what I do, and this is not what they're gonna do, and this is stupid, but this is what I'm doing, and this is why I'm here, and not making millions of dollars in a front office.
Sure.
I'm running up and taking either Marvin Harrison Jr. or Olufashanu. I don't care what anybody says. I don't care how good or bad anybody thinks any of the like people are.
You're
I am
basically saying
taking.
draft for need.
They
No, I
have
know
the
I'm
one
taking. Well,
from Carolina.
You
no,
are.
I'm
You're saying you're advocating that the Bears draft for need, which is like the cardinal sin of drafting.
Well, no, but
they
it's
don't
like
need a
it's
QB because
need.
then they need everything.
No, yeah,
That's
no,
like
you're
the whole
not
point of a
wrong.
QB.
No, but
Like,
I think you're
you
not.
just take talent. If you've had a chance to take Penei Sewell, if it wasn't Joe Burrow, like,
Well, it's easy to
wait,
say in retrospect.
But
he was.
still. I think you're absolutely right because they desperately need a wide receiver. They
And if
have
you're
the
gonna
number
suck
one
anyway,
overall,
like, you're gonna get
and
another first round like
and
high pick.
They
It's
have
fine.
DJ Moore.
flashes just
What do you mean
enough.
they desperately need a wide receiver?
They desperately need a real like DJ Moore is fine, but he's not.
DJ
great.
Moore is really good.
Dude, he's an elite separator, man.
He's really good. He's a one. He is one. They do need more wide receivers.
They need another.
That
one.
They need
that
every
is
Another
absolutely
good
true.
one.
They need everything.
They need
There
a T
isn't
Higgins.
position-
They need a
But if
T
they-
Higgins kind of
If
player.
they get
You know.
a wide, if they get an MHJ, they get Marvin Harrison, then I mean that's a good
If you
thing
take a
for them.
quarterback, if they reset and take a quarterback, basically what you're saying is I'm tying myself to this quarterback. We need everything. We're kicking the can down the road. Like,
Yeah.
if you don't take a quarterback and you still suck, and you can get a 10-year lineman, like left tackle, then
That's
you still
hard.
suck. You still get a QB.
It's really hard to get a player
Yeah.
like that though. Like left tackles and edge rushers are like, there's a reason why those get picked in the top 5 every year.
Yep.
There's a reason.
Yeah, I mean,
They're really hard to
exactly.
get in free agency, and this is the
You can't
reason.
get either of those positions in
It's the
free
reason
agency.
why the Seahawks just traded a second-round pick for one. It's because you're not going to get one in free agency, and it's really hard to draft guys that are actually going to be good at that. You see every year teams throw first and second round picks at players like that, and they don't do anything. They get injured or they're not good.
But you have to take the chance on if this kid is what they're saying. Like Olu Fashanu is touted as like the best prospect, just like Caleb Williams, since like Trevor Lawrence, in this case Penei Sewell. Like if you can get this guy, you got to take him.
I
Like
I like that plan, and I hope that they do something like that. But the Bears have proven to be pretty incompetent, and I imagine that they're going to trade Justin Fields for picks and then draft a top quarterback and fuck everyone else because they don't know what to do.
That is an extremely Bears move.
Exactly. Like just
Knowing
watching
the
how
history of the
they've
Bears,
watching what they've done in the past 8 years.
trade Fields for like a first and a second, and to
dude, you're not getting a first for Fields.
No, you're probably
There's
getting
no
seconds,
way.
like a second and a.
I can see that
second.
a first because like a franchise quarterback is at least 2 seconds, a massive extension, or sorry, at least 2 firsts, a second or 2 or 3, and you pay their extension.
Like,
and usually players are involved in the trade
Fields,
too.
But they're gonna pick up the 5th-year option if they trade him.
Yep.
And you'll give him like a second, maybe. And
at least he'd be cheap. He's not going to make Justin Herbert money. He's not going to make Pat Mahomes money.
2 years to prove it, and he could go to a team like.
I mean, the Falcons.
Tampa Bay
Falcons.
Browns, maybe.
No,
they can't.
No,
they
can't.
They have no option to move off from Deshaun.
They have to keep Deshaun.
Yeah,
they have to keep Deshaun. They could move on from him, but
to him.
Yeah.
I mean, New England.
New England. Yeah.
I think New England's going
to.
I think New England has a top pick because of how dog shit they've been. I think that they draft a quarterback, and it'll probably be Jaden Daniels, and I'm going to cry. But
well, they'll take May or Daniels depending on where they are.
Yeah. Or even Caleb Williams. We'll see.
I don't know why anybody.
Where do you?
I don't know why anybody thinks that Caleb Williams is not going to be a top 1-2 guy.
It's because people think he's a baby when he's actually just a fucking competitor and he cares. Also his team kind of let him down a little bit.
Anyway, let's get back to this matchup. We've gone off the rails.
We've definitely gone off the rails. I mean,
Brandon Ayuk, Debo, and Fred Warner all killed the Seahawks because that's what the 49ers do post Russell Wilson.
Debo has the Seahawks numbers, man. He was cooking safeties left and right. Both Jamal Adams and Julian Love just got absolutely dusted by Debo.
I mean, I think the safe takeaway is like for anybody who's like got receivers or I mean any pass catcher that is going against the Seahawks, if you know that that their targets come in the middle of the field, either at the linebacker or safety level, like just play them. Like it's very clear, like regardless of how much you like people like Bobby.
You got to abuse Bobby or abuse Diggs, like abuse the safeties, Diggs, Jamal Adams,
and Bobby, like even
just go up the middle because like you're gonna get like Tariq Woolen's been fucking dog shit, but Devon Witherspoon's gonna shit on you. So like you might as well just go over like middle of the field, like tight end. This is why tight ends and slot receivers fucking destroy us.
Yeah,
and running backs.
And it's also like, I mean, that's why Ayuk and Debo and like the 49ers are always safe plays against the Seahawks, is because that's the Shanahan system.
They literally do the exact right. Yeah, they do the exact right thing every time to abuse us because they had over 500 yards of offense. Every single play was a first down. Basically, it was just nuts. So
shout out to Jaquan Brisker.
He went sick of 17 tackles,
dude.
17 tackles. Holy shit!
A forced fumble, dude, like
17 tackles, a forced fumble, and I think that let me just give you the whole rundown here, because it also includes 2 pass defended.
Yeah, it's 2 pass defenses, man.
He went absolutely crazy.
Yeah.
Best game of his
17
career.
total tackles, 13 solo.
You know it's a good game when you look at your team on Tuesday or whatever, and there's actually a new news icon for your defensive player. You read it,
Yeah.
you're like,
Yeah, you're like,
he
woo.
went crazy. You hope it's
This
not
new news, unfortunately,
He hurt himself.
limited
Yeah, he
at
hurt himself.
practice. Oops.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really want
it.
Sleeper to care more about IDP, and I think it'll come.
This
Like,
league helps.
Gambling.
When this league is nice and ripe, and as gambling really sets in,
It'll start.
and like there will be like DFS IDP stuff starts becoming more popular. The IDP stuff is going to start cooking, and everyone who plays in this league is just going to be really, really good at it. By default.
We're gonna be,
Bajan, like Big Mustard. Also, Casey changed his name to Big Mustard.
That's good.
Like
Desmond Ridder missed him on the easiest passing touchdown of his life. By the way,
yeah,
he could have had an even
this
bigger
should have
game.
been an even, this should have been an even split. In like this weird reversal in this matchup, like if it weren't for Debo and like Brisker, this would be a lot closer. But Casey's defense just outperformed mine.
Yeah,
and
even Donovan
Debo.
Wilson chipped in. He was doing fucking nothing all season. That's why I
all
dropped him.
season, and I was
Scott's just mad.
I was
So
mad. I was watching the
He
game,
forced
and,
the fumble.
and then I saw like a tweet, and it was Skip Bayless fucking punching air about Donovan Wilson. I'm like, brother, he has been hot trash all season.
Oh, so
my
bad.
brother, my siblings in Christ.
Yeah.
Like, yo.
But yeah, of course, he finally fucking does something against you, Steve.
One thing I really want to highlight here is the Roshan Johnson Khalil Herbert to like side
this
by
is very
side
funny, yeah.
matchup where we both played
So
the
depressing.
wrong Bears running back.
That's
And nothing
expected.
happened.
Yeah,
I'm very
and
glad that like they're lined up right here just so we can
it's
see
just
how bad
right
it
next
went.
to each other.
Like,
Like,
how
oh,
bad
look
it
at-
is.
Look
Like,
at
yeah,
this.
that's great.
Like, it's perfectly aligned right there. Love it.
Although Steve,
In the flex.
after missing out on the almost 50 point Josh Allen game, you got your 40 point Bart game. So good for you.
Yeah, I
There you
did.
go.
I did get a 40-point Bart game. I'm very happy about that.
Breeze
He was-
lightning was
that
lightning.
game was fucking incredible.
I love.
And I'm
that
saying
game.
that, and I'm saying that as a Seahawks fan who really hates the Rams.
That game was
But-
dope.
That game was fucking awesome.
That game was dope. I watched that instead of the
probably one of the
Seahawks game.
probably one oh I
and
don't blame you at all. I would
I
rather
was-
watch that game
I
than the
was
Seahawks game.
I was glued
Dude,
to
the
it.
Seahawks are not fun to watch, man.
No,
It's
they're
not.
ass. It's terrible.
I was absolutely glued to it, and I like the Ravens. I think they're fun. They're,
Oh no, I
they're-
love the Ravens, dude.
They're
I'm
a
all
great
in on the
team
Ravens.
to watch, and
I've been all in on
they've got a-
Lamar since like Lamar went 32nd. I was like, why the fuck is he
Same,
32nd?
Same. I was like, this kid's
It
so
didn't
good.
make any
Like, there's
sense,
no
even at the
way.
time.
Yeah,
Like,
no,
Falling
I
that
am
far for a
all
dude
in
with
on
his
Lamar.
talent, like not only did he just come off the Heisman and all the rushing stuff that came after it, it was like way overblown on like, oh, he can't pass. It was like C.J. Stroud. It was like, oh, he can't
Mhm.
run. It's like, guys, no, we've seen it. Shut up. Like, this is silly.
Like
he
no,
needs.
he's
I mean,
fine.
this is. I understand the other side of it because like Trevor has this opinion. He doesn't believe that Lamar Jackson is that good, and it's more. It's not about like how productive he is now because he's a true dual threat top 5 quarterback right now.
Right
The
now,
concern is
yeah.
like, this is not sustainable.
That's
fair.
probably true.
Because
I mean,
I think that's
we're
fine.
basically this is this generation's Michael Vick.
I mean, this is the Allen Iverson
We're-
thing, though.
We're
It's like
also,
at a
we're
certain
also
point, he's going to
protecting the
fall off. He's
quarterback
going to
so
fall off
much more
hard
than Michael
because of
Vick's
the
time.
athleticism. This is Russell Westbrook. I mean, these probably don't
Yeah,
mean anything to anybody, but
yeah,
like,
exactly.
it's once the athleticism goes, it's going to fall apart real quick because he's always had accuracy issues. In this game, he had accuracy issues. Like, that's never going to change. That's just who he is.
Yep. He threw an int. He had a couple wild ones.
Well, like,
I mean,
I mean, 43 for he's 24 for 33 or 43. But like, yeah, like
yeah, exactly.
he's
He
just
didn't
not
do good.
an accurate
thing is-
That
quarterback.
was. It
Fine.
was also raining.
The question
it's
is
not
if
like-
he can consistently be this good. And we've never
Yeah.
seen it. We've never seen. He goes through spurts. Like aside from the 2018 season where he was literally the MVP candidate, but then ended up losing out on it because his team did nothing in the playoffs. He has been kind of a bust since then. Not in terms of like real life football, because obviously he's like one of the highest paid quarterbacks, but like in terms of fantasy, he's been really frustrating because for every week like this, you get a
five.
Drew Lock week where it's
Yeah.
like, what the fuck?
Yeah, you get
You know,
8 points.
like we were talking
So what
about,
happened?
8 points. You get the AOC
Yeah.
week where it's like you get that floor game where it sucks, but then when you get games like this, it makes up for it. You know,
Yeah.
Moving on to Brees
I
Hall.
mean,
If you've got
he's
Houston,
been
if you've got matchups for Houston for running backs, yeah, they don't have a
exploit the
defensive
run.
line.
No,
Like, just play them, please.
which is weird because their defensive line last season was really good, and now they're on an
playing
offensive
Calais-
team. Like it completely flipped.
God, they signed Calais Campbell, man. Like, come on.
Yeah.
Like Calais Campbell's a Hall of Famer just for the simple fact that he's like been good for so long. Like, can't take that away from him.
I don't
But he's
think
like
he's not
36
first
defensive
ballot.
lineman.
He's not first ballot. Let's put it
Oh
that way.
no. But he's like 36
No.
and he's still like a productive defensive lineman. Like,
Yeah.
it's the Frank Gore thing, man.
Yeah, he's old. But he's
Houston.
good.
Houston's defense could not get anything fucking done in that game. I watched a lot of that one too, and it was that was a really weird game.
CJ Stroud, and we'll talk about it when we get to
He
Josh's
got
matchup. But
Or
it was a bad game for him. Overall, it was a
He was
bad game
concussed.
for
I
Houston.
mean, it was a bad game, and he got hurt.
Yeah,
Well,
Like,
Steve did the right thing.
he
unlike
played
the rest
Ezekiel
of-
Elliott.
He played Zeke because
I
suddenly
was
he
I
is
was
the
so tilted
offense.
watching that game. I was so fucking mad, and I was talking shit. And Steve was like, "What do you mean Ezekiel Elliott was fine?" I was like, "I meant relevant." Relevant players, Steve. But
See, no, this
fair
has always
fucks to
been the thing.
Ezekiel Elliott. He had a
This
good
has
game.
always been the thing though with like the praise of Pollard is like it's not that he's a bad player, it's that he's coming off a broken leg, and Zeke, as much as people are like, oh, he falls over 3 yards, he gets 3 yards and falls over. Yeah, but it's also like he's not totally done. Like if he's not the number two, he's a completely serviceable player. And
I
can
think
get you
he's
one.
really benefiting
Yep.
from the Belichick usage because
Yeah.
Belichick really likes to spread. He's kind of the one that championed the current meta of the running back by committee approach. He's really been the coach that's really enforced that, and it's kind of bled over into every other team in the league at this point because of the money,
Keeps your
the
good guys-
cap situation, and just
Yep.
yeah. So
The money, the
since
ease of the
he's not
position.
getting 300 touches a year anymore, now that he's a Patriot, he can actually run healthy.
Sustain.
He can
Yeah.
sustain, and he's not just running in Jerry World over and over and over again, which is fantastic for fantasy. It's what we're seeing with Kyron Williams right now, where it's like he just gets
Yeah.
everything.
Byron
But
is
that's
having
bad
Gurley
long
for
term.
Gurley,
Yeah.
yeah, exactly.
Yep,
The knees are gonna go.
something's
I
gonna
mean,
give.
Yeah, for
I
sure.
mean,
I mean, something already
Ezekiel
did.
Elliott
That's what
will
happened
be-
last year.
Yeah,
Yeah, exactly.
yo,
Zeke's
Um,
gonna be good for one more game, and then he's gonna disappear back into nothingness when Ramondre Stevenson returns in like
I don't know.
1 to 2 weeks.
The Patriots are completely broken. They're literally a real life reaper of football games. They produce like their defense is still elite because that's what Belichick does. If Belichick is your coach, your defense will be above average at
So good.
minimum. And
Yep.
currently, New England, like over the last couple weeks, they've been awful this season in terms of historically what Belichick defenses look like. But the last couple weeks, they've looked great. And
I mean, they've
They
allowed
always
like
come around.
10 points or less.
They
had some
do-
crazy record.
They do
like,
the
for a
same.
couple
They look
weeks
like
there.
I hate watching Jets and Patriots games because it's the same thing. Anemic, terrible, shitty, old, bad, low skill offense, and then great defense. So it just ends up being this 3-and-out punt, and then the other team gets out there with good offensive weapons, and they get neutralized. 3-and-out punt, and then it's just a low scoring dog shit game the entire time, and bad defense. Bad
If the
defense,
Seahawks
bad
could
offense.
just steal Kyle Duggar, I would greatly appreciate that. Just right out of Foxborough.
That's not going to happen. The Patriots don't come to Seattle. It's not a thing. They don't.
No, that's why we steal him. Like, we have planes.
They won't. They don't. They don't trade.
They don't trade.
He's a free agent at the end of the year.
I don't know. We'll see. I can't remember
We'll
the
see if
last.
they
I
tag
can't
him.
remember the last
Maybe.
Patriot that became a Seahawk.
I mean, they might tag him. Like honestly, because he's
They
the
should.
green dot.
Kyle Duggar is good.
Yeah, he's very good. Anyway, Steve's best wide receiver is
Jaden Reed.
also from Green Bay, and
Yep,
yeah,
Jaden Reed. Yeah.
That was a nice
congratulations on
draft
that.
pick, Steve. It was your second round pick in the rookie draft this
Yeah.
season. That was a good
Yep.
pick.
Congrats for getting a guy.
It made
Yeah.
up for a lot of other mistakes that you made with your
Dude,
roster.
my draft and roster are
Your startup draft was pretty dog shit, but I would argue that your rookie draft was decent because you like for the Jaden Reed, and you also got Tucker Kraft, who looks pretty good.
I got Jaden Reed, Tucker Kraft, Will Anderson, and Will McDonald.
I think the Will Anderson, like
I think he'll be a better real life football
both of those are
player
gonna
than he
be-
will an actual fantasy asset. We'll see. He's not a Jalen Carter. He's not a Jalen Carter kind of guy. Because Jalen Carter will produce.
We'll see.
Will Anderson is going to be.
It depends on how good he becomes as a rusher, and he's like having a fairly good first season, but he's also like making some business decisions this late in the season. You know.
I think Will Anderson is. I think at this point, like, he came in undersized. It's his first year, and he's shown more than enough for anybody who's watching to say, yeah, no, that's a guy. And it's just about like filling in to general NFL stuff and then getting better. Like, Jalen Carter's a 101, like, came in as good as Chris Jones, and that's not an exaggeration. Like, he is as good as Chris Jones is right now. That's not there's nobody else has ever done that. Like, kind of prospect. Even
Will Anderson has more.
He's a dude who, if I wasn't so fucked at edge, would probably have started this year on my taxi squad as well. But that's why McDonald is down there, because like he's in the exact same situation. You know, like I'm letting my edge ferment a little while before they get good and stinky out there, and they can fuck people up.
I mean, that's how that position is. Like middle linebacker, defensive line, those positions usually take several years to develop. So
unless you've got a superstar
top talent safeties like Earl Thomas just come in and shit on people, you know,
or Kyle Hamilton.
Yeah, those guys are first round picks though, always
for a reason.
Like, not everyone comes in hot at that,
and not everybody's at a position where like you overvalue them, take them higher than they should go.
Yeah.
Steve, sorry about your Micah Parsons not
the fried corn spokesperson.
Fried corn spokesperson.
Yeah, it ruins me. I almost like feel like I'm obliged to trade him.
Micah Parsons is hurt.
No, it's not the points. It's that he's selling Tostitos, and I just can't abide.
For everybody who doesn't understand this, Steve, Steve's got an allergy. And he's mad about Tostitos.
Allergic to corn. So, like, this shit.
He's mad about Tostitos, dude. Like, that's what I'm hearing.
It's not just the Tostitos. I am allergic to corn. So, and specifically the part of corn that is extracted in fat. So, like, fried corn products are things that just, like, completely exacerbate the problem.
All right. Well, Steve, we'll talk some potential IDP for IDP trade situations in the offseason, I think.
Yeah, no,
dude, Steve tried to extort me for fucking. I made a joke about it. He's like a first and a second. It's like, motherfucker, this guy got 0 points in a game. You a dick. I get you a first and a second for fucking a person give you a goose egg. I don't give a damn.
I think it's difficult to value draft capital for IDP players, but like Micah Parsons is difficult.
General rule of thumb is if you're a player that gets 0 points at any point, you are not worth a first. Like that's a general rule. Like that's not IDP.
I think Drake London's worth a first, and he got a donut this season.
That says you have Drake London.
I think he's worth a late first.
I think he's worth a first.
I think the late.
I'm not asking for the 101 for him.
He could be like a 9 through 12.
I'm not giving him up for less than a first.
The 9 through 12 for Micah or Drake London is more reasonable. I'll give you that.
Yeah, no, it is a first, but it's not like a. You know, I'm not
it would be
asking for the 1.01 for Micah Parsons. Like, regardless,
Drake London's a stud. I'm just saying. He's really good at
If you got
Not
football.
a
good
stud unless he
quarterback,
gets a
he could be great.
quarterback.
Well, yeah.
But that's always it. But yeah, I mean, like Tucker Kraft, that's a good pickup, but it's an injury stash, and Musgrave got hurt. Oops, he
Yeah.
always gets hurt. He got hurt a bunch in college. Roshan Rostoff.
He was bad. Gus Edwards had a bad
is
game.
The bus never left the
Your
station.
defense was dog shit too. Your defense was terrible this
Rashawn
week.
Gary had he played such a bad offensive line and showed such a lack of effort that like in some ways like he was one of the factors that lost the Packers the game because he just like did not pursue Tommy DeVito.
Dude, I don't like the
Did
Packers
not
and
pursue Tommy Cutlets at all.
I don't like the Packers and I felt
Everybody
bad for you
sees
guys losing to the
Tommy
fucking
Cutlet's
Giants.
fucking agent. Everybody sees
Yes,
it.
everybody saw the
Everybody saw
agent.
that, right?
Yeah.
Like that's
Yeah,
some
no,
straight up like out of like somebody went to
Dude,
the Sopranos casting call like Rolodex and was like, "Yo, get me one of them." Like my guy. Like I've never.
he
Like,
showed up on Good Morning Football like the next
Dude.
morning. Tuesday
Where's
morning,
the black
yeah.
Twitter quote, man? Where's the black?
Yeah,
like,
no, the
I
black
love that
Twitter
account.
quote.
It's so funny.
dude, that shit's so
Here,
good.
this is what
That's
you're talking
so
about
funny.
here.
Yeah.
Yeah, this dude.
Well, there was a black Twitter like thread where it was like, I think every like franchise should have a third round QB that's an egregious
Yeah, first
stereotype
string
of the
people who
local
live there.
residents of your area.
Yeah.
Shit is
no, like,
hilarious.
It
it's
is
honestly
really good.
really funny that it's like
Dude,
the
it's the
whole
most New York
Cutlets
thing ever.
thing,
Like the song
dude,
"New York, New
I
York"
did-
is not as New York as
I
Tommy
couldn't
DeVito.
I
Like,
couldn't
it's just not.
help but think about fucking Tanner throughout this entire like saga and just like giggle a little bit at the amount of fun that he would be having about knowing about this. So I think I gotta tell him.
I wish Tanner still liked fantasy football, man. That playing
I
with
know.
him was so fun.
Dude, he would have had such a ball this year with all of this.
Oh yeah, it's with the podcast and everything. Maybe I can bring
Oh,
him.
no,
maybe
no,
I
I
can
mean,
convince him to come back to the game at some point.
It's the DeVito. The DeVito would be very fun for him, I think.
Yeah, that's
In a
true.
lot of ways.
The last thing I want to
Anyway.
say about Steve's team is Aluakon. I'll talk more about like the Cleveland Jags game because I've got players in it. But like,
Yeah.
my God, the Jags fucking
fucking-
suck.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they were bad.
The Jaguars just decided to quit. Like
Dude,
straight up, the whole team quit.
It's really
Like,
too bad because like I was rooting for Doug Peterson and
they got a good
I
team.
still
don't
like
know
You
why.
I like
should've-
Trevor Lawrence. So
I mean, Trevor Lawrence was out there doing a full Scott game, just arm punting,
terrible.
arm punting. Anyway,
We're gonna be here all night if we don't move on. So
Yeah,
let's talk
yeah,
yeah,
about
let's hurry up.
let's talk about Ben
Yeah.
and Jordan.
To no one's surprise,
Face.
Jordan beat Ben.
I'm
sorry,
sorry,
bud.
Ben.
by a smaller margin.
I feel like we're
than-
shitting on Ben every week, but like he actually was like had a shot at making playoffs.
Yeah, dude.
He did,
And
he
he's
did.
and like
there was
I mean,
a scenario.
David Njoku like had a great game. Like Saquon, great game. Raheem Mostert, great game. Like Raheem Mostert's like the RB five
5
through
on
one
the
some
season.
like
Yeah.
what is he this?
He's
Yeah,
5.
he's like great
Number
running
5.
back.
Which is crazy because like he's having a Cordero Patterson season like from a couple years back, where he's past his prime. He's 31, right? And
Yeah, he's just coming back.
he's got like multiple
like-
multiple 20+ point games this season. Multiple.
The thing with Raheem Mostert is that like you look at his 2019 usage, he's barely around. I mean,
He's got no tread on.
pre 20.
I mean, sorry, he has a ton of tread on the
he's
tires,
got
as it were.
Nothing.
It just wasn't used.
Yeah, he just was not used in.
He was
in,
also
like,
late to football.
pre-
He wasn't like
Yeah. He's getting 12 snaps a game. You know, in
Well, he was in
2015
San
through
Francisco looking at this during the Alfred Morris, Tevin Coleman
whole-
era.
2018.
Um,
Yeah, exactly.
and
he
then
emerged out of that
later on,
in-
the Trey Sermon,
in
Elijah Mitchell.
2018, he emerged at Green Bay. Like I remember this game in 2018. He emerged at Green Bay because Trey Sermon had just gone out at Arizona the week before. Scottsdale claimed him, and then Raheem Mostert comes out and plays like 2/3 of the snaps and has a great fucking game against Green Bay, and then they ride him for the rest of the year until he gets hurt at Oakland, or maybe Coleman comes back at that point. But then after that, like he had a pretty consistent season in 19, and then nothing in 2020. I think from injury.
He's been injured a lot, which is a
2021,
big issue.
Lost to injury. But
Lots
then
of seasons where he
22
was
and
hurt.
23, he's been. I mean,
I mean, but that's the
2021
San
is.
Francisco way, though.
I
Yeah.
mean, he played.
Except for this season.
San Francisco
like-
Hospital. This season, they're remarkably healthy.
In 2021, he
I mean, you
just
gotta
died
have the-
immediately. He was going to be the starting running back for the team, but then he just died immediately.
Mhm.
I mean, but that's why he's in
And
that's why he's a Dolphins
Dolphin.
now. That's why
Yeah.
he's a Dolphin. I mean,
Well, he followed McDaniel from
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
Niners, which like makes sense.
Aiden Hutchinson though bounced back with a very complete game, pass defense, sack, to another QB hit.
Oh, he was a monster in this game.
And Anelzone got ejected, right? I think
I have
that's
no
why
idea.
his score is so
I think that
low.
was last week. Right?
I mean, he like getting nine tackles is still for a linebacker. I mean, it's like not what you
I guess
want
he
out
played-
of like
It's
that
fine.
you're gonna rely on, but
I
like
guess
that's
he played
very
68
fine.
snaps.
The thing-
Completely
so-
respectable.
The
Played
thing
the
that
whole game.
confuses the fuck out of me is Max Crosby, again, massive game, in one of the worst games I've ever seen that ended 0-3.
Yeah, that's an IDP game.
He literally needs he needs surgery in his knee. Like it is every week he
Yeah.
has to get it drained because
Dude,
it's so
this dude
fucked
is
up.
crazy.
And he's just playing like this still. It's fucking crazy to me. He had
That's
to
why he's
he had so much fluid in his leg that there was a concern that he might get sepsis, but he still is playing football. Any
Right, dude.
mere mortal like you or me, and we would be laid up for a month with that kind of condition. And this guy is putting on a DPOY candidate performance every
Season.
week.
Yeah.
It's insane.
yeah, you know, he's a
Don't know
legit
how he's
D-boy
doing
candidate.
this. It's
What
it's
is
insane.
going on with this man? Like,
I mean, he's Mad Max. That's what happens.
he's Mad Max, that's for sure. Like,
It's actually
he's
one of
the
the best.
perfect.
What the
He's
fuck?
the
Why
perfect
doesn't Max
Raider.
Crosby have a nickname, Jordan? He's
Yeah,
like
that's
one of your
fucked up.
best players, and you haven't given
Yeah,
him a
they
He
funny
really
name.
has like the best nickname too in the
He
league. Mad
doesn't
Max.
even have
He's like Max
any-
Damage. Like there's so much you could do with this,
You,
Yeah.
Like you got one nickname, and it's Anal Zone.
which is great. That's
Yeah.
that's good.
It's great.
but
That's
you gotta,
top
like,
10.
Did you just like shoot the moon and you're like, cool, I'm done? Like, what's the deal here? Put some effort into it.
I don't know.
mean,
Ever
Ladarius
since you declared him your rival, he's been pretty quiet. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna blame you, Steve. You suck.
Yeah,
I'm
you
fine
also,
with
you also
that. We
needs
can
to
blame
pay
Steve.
me.
L'Jarius Sneed, like let's just say, had a really good game as well. Let's just shout that out.
He did.
McCaffrey had a floor game and less than 20 points, but yeah, that's kind of it. Like is anything else?
McCaffrey had a floor game in a game where the very first touch that he got in the very first play of the
For
game was a
72 yards or-
72 yard fucking run because
Yeah.
the Seahawks are dog shit.
Yeah,
I can't stand the fact that he's on this team. I loved him when he was a Panther. Now I just fucking hate him because he's a Niner. It drives me crazy.
yeah. Well, you know, that's as is the way of
McCaff
life.
sprain.
Now, okay, is that anything else? In this?
DeAndre Swift and Amon Ra were terrible. And Gabe Davis served another donut this week. I don't think he played him, but I thought that was fucking
Detroit
hilarious.
was so fucking bad. Like,
Jared Goff,
and
man.
and they're not going to
terrible.
be better against Denver. That's the thing. Denver has a better defense than Chicago.
They're in trouble.
Detroit is a problem.
Detroit is in trouble.
Yeah, I mean,
Keenan Allen's.
I don't
mean,
know
like,
what to do there either, because like, if
Jordan's-
like with Goff, like he's a serviceable, fine quarterback. There's a few of those in the league, like just fine, but he's not the ceiling raiser by any means. I think
Mhm.
no one's gonna argue that, and like they've won too many games to like, you know, use their draft pick on a quarterback, and that's like there are too many quarterback needy teams. Like there just are. I don't know what
Yep.
you do about it.
Trade for one. Justin Fields.
Justin
Anybody?
Fields, Yeah, I mean, I would have said like Kirk Cousins, but he's dead.
I think I
He
think Kirk Cousins
Do
goes
you think he
back.
retires?
Nah, I think he heals up and comes back because like
Nah. You sure?
The Achilles injury isn't as much of a death knell as it has been in the past. So
That's for sure. But
I don't know,
I
man.
think he
He's
comes
old.
back
He's
to
like,
the Vikings.
I don't know. He's old.
I don't think he comes back to the Vikings either. I think
They've been trying to
that will
move
be a
off.
very interesting team to watch in the offseason. For
Yeah,
They've
sure.
been
they're
trying to
getting
move off of Kirk
Kirk for a
Cousins ever
while.
since they fired Spielman. Like,
And they want to try out Jaron Hall. They want to see if he's really a thing, but he got hurt like 5 snaps into that one game, and
right?
then they
He got
were,
Aaron Rodgers, but not as bad.
but not as
Wait,
bad.
was
So
it an
he should
Achilles?
come back soon.
No,
It
he
was
got
not an
concussed.
Achilles.
Oh,
He
okay.
got,
That's
but he was
different.
still out for like 4 games, and
The
then he
Aaron
like
Rodgers is
Dobbs
to either
goes
tear
in.
your Achilles or have like a terrible leg injury.
Money.
I
Yeah.
swear to God, when you first sent me that video, I thought he was saying money. And I was like,
Yeah.
thought it was a contact year thing. I was like, what? Like, why? This doesn't make any sense, Steve. What are you
Oh, it's
talking about?
Aaron Rodgers high on drugs.
Yeah.
Do you think Jordan should trade Sauce? Like his defense is fucking loaded.
No, I wouldn't trade Sauce. I would trade, um, I'd shop Aldebo, or wait, yeah, Adebo or Wanham.
What, the
Because I feel
waiver
like you
wire
could,
trash he picked up? No one's gonna
nah,
buy for even a fifth for those guys.
you don't think?
No. Sauce Gardner has the name value and yeah, he's great
Yeah,
like
yeah,
depth at the position, but like I feel like Jordan could actually get like a better defensive player in a package. Like maybe take one of those defensive guys and do like a 2-for-1 or 2-for-2 where he
mm-hmm.
receives a player of lesser value for a better like a defensive star and some waiver wire guy that he can
Yeah,
optionally drop. So
yeah,
effectively a 2-for-1.
yeah, right,
I don't
right.
know. I don't know. I was just looking at his the way he constructed his roster with defensive players, and I was like, he didn't even think about playing Sauce this week. He just played Sneed and sorry,
Is he?
he played Sneed and Ramsey, which fair, but
I mean, it's real boom bust picks because they're outside guys, but like, yeah.
yeah,
Not that cornerbacks aren't boom bust anyway, but whatever.
Yeah,
I don't know. I like the play at safety for my IDP play personally, just because of what they are. They're typically doing multiple things, whereas a corner is a corner.
yeah.
They're covering a wide receiver, whereas a safety
You
can pull up and play nickel or rush the quarterback and do all sorts of stuff.
Well,
You
that's
know,
why I like the nickel corners is because they play that nickel and then are
those are
outside.
rare though. Those are
star
rare.
cornerbacks
I
are
mean, yeah,
hard.
but I got two of the good ones. So.
Those are like your stud cornerbacks. The guys that aren't just like
Yeah,
because like the concept of a lockdown corner isn't really a thing anymore because they typically just they're used dynamically because I feel like it's
and
too
again, like,
easy
what is
for
that?
to scheme up with
And
motion.
it's like nothing for fantasy too, because like there's a lockdown corner usually, or like an island corner, not gonna
They're
get
not getting
targets.
past two. They might get one,
They
maybe
might get
two
one PD, maybe a
PD and no
tackle or two.
tackles.
Yeah, but
No
that's my point.
tackles.
Is like that sauce is good enough that doesn't matter.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
I think that's part of the. Is he though? Like, he lived off PDs. This,
Yeah,
I mean, he lived off
that's a
PDs last year
viable.
too.
That's viable with our scoring format.
Yeah,
I mean,
You
it
know,
is. I mean,
you
but
want that. You want guys that get PDs like
and he's still
crazy.
getting thrown on because he doesn't really get the interceptions, which is
he's
the
one
other
of
thing.
those dude that's like, I feel like he's a low floor, high,
I'm just gonna put it this way:
potentially
we
high
all
impact
complain
guy.
about Jets games. He's part of the reason.
Yeah.
It's because
Yeah,
that defense is so
yeah,
good
the
because
defense
he's
is
on
so
it.
good. Yep, yep.
One last thing before we move off this matchup is as much as anybody wants to give shit to Rashad White, like Rashad White is producing like a fucking monster.
Yeah, I saw this
Yeah, he's a
joke.
fantasy monster.
I saw this joke where it's basically like only Rashad White owners really understand that Rashad White's a RB1.
Yeah.
He's top 15. But like you're not going to go to someone and be like, "Hey, do you want to trade Rashad White for a first rounder or like a good wide receiver, like even like a wide receiver 2?" They're just going to be like, "What? Rashad White?"
No.
Yeah, it
Only
doesn't have the
people who
name.
have Rashad White in fantasy know that he's actually like a good fantasy option. Because
Yeah.
no, I don't feel like anyone really watches Tampa Bay games. Like after Tom Brady's gone, it's like fuck it, fuck that team. It's always been that way. Tampa Bay has always just been kind of shit, you know.
Tampa Bay has under 500 record, but 2 Super Bowls, so they are what
Yeah,
they
more
are.
than the Seahawks and yeah,
Most teams.
more than most teams.
Yeah.
Well, moving
Most
on.
teams.
That's kind of it.
Although the
Who's
first one they
next?
got was fucking awesome, legendary Super Bowl
Gruden before we all knew Gruden.
on a kicker. Kicker. Also, before we move off of this, Zay Flowers got an octopus and was part of the reason why that game was so fucking awesome because it was a must make a play situation. They were backed up, not like really far, but it was like a 30-yard pass from Lamar Jackson to get a touchdown with basically as the time expired to tie the game. Well, it wasn't literally as the time expired because they gave the ball back over to the Rams and they managed to get another touchdown to tie it up or score a field goal. I forget what it was.
They kicked a field
but
goal.
it was like it was do or die. It was like if you do not get a touchdown literally right now, Lamar, you lose. And he threw a laser at Zay Flowers, who caught it, which was impressive in and of itself because of how much zip was on that thing.
Yeah,
And then the 2-point try, so to enable them because they were up by 1, they wanted to make it so that since they were giving the ball up that a field goal would tie it and send it to overtime. They went to Zay Flowers again, and he was so fired up. It was so cool. Like kid was just feeling himself. I just want to shout out Zay Flowers. He had a huge game.
No, that was the chest beat, right?
Yeah, he caught the 2-point conversion and was like, yeah, he was just hyped up. That game was fucking awesome. Best game of the week.
I just want to say that 2 weeks ago was like Zay Flowers going to look like number 1. Yeah, that's why. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like Zay Flowers,
He's
like
good.
I don't know who was paying attention to him pre-draft, but man, everything that kid.
I mean,
did,
clearly it was Ben, so you know.
Yep.
Yeah. Zay Flowers, man. Yeah.
He's very.
If it wasn't JSN, that was the other guy I was hoping we would take.
I'm still happy with the JSN pick, mostly because Steve was tilting off the face of the earth when we picked him. The shit was hilarious. You're like, I want JSN. I think the Packers are gonna pick JSN, and we're sitting here like, pick Will Levis. Pick Will Levis.
Bro, you were saying pick Will Levis. I was like, my God, if we
I'm still right. I'm still right.
No,
Fuck you.
No.
Will Levis. Dude, did you not watch that game? Will Levis was fucking slinging it.
Still bad. He's a perfect Titan.
I want him to succeed, but I'm out.
Nah, man, the Mayo Man. He has so much personality before he was even in the league. Okay.
Yeah, I don't.
You're never gonna win that argument with me, dude. I don't give a fuck about none of that shit.
I'm not here to win arguments. I'm just here to be right, and I am.
That's literally not how that works.
Sure.
That's not how that works at all.
Yeah, all right.
That was the exact opposite of how that works.
It's okay to be wrong. It's okay to be wrong.
As long as you're right.
All right, let's move on.
Where are we going next?
Danny,
before fucking Joe reaches through his monitor and strangles me for my hot takes.
It's okay, man.
Right.
Once we start like failing at the inside picks this year instead of like the obvious outside ones, like then we can all be sad together.
No, we're already there, buddy. Don't worry.
Yeah, I know. Anyway,
Danny and Josh, this was a must-win game for Danny.
And he won.
And he came through.
Good for you, man. Congrats.
With his cobbled together hospital team, Danny has managed to make playoffs in the inaugural season.
Henry. Yeah.
Which
I'm glad you stuck with like Cooper Kupp, dude. Like that took some balls. I know a lot of people.
I want to remind you.
Yeah.
This is Danny's second year playing fantasy football ever. He didn't know what the fuck he was doing last year, and he's made playoffs in a dynasty format with IDP with 30-man rosters.
It makes me feel better that Donta Foreman only has 9.7 points. Just like no Bears running back got anything.
I mean, yeah, that was Justin Fields was going off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, do we talk about? Yeah, we talk about the Chiefs game now because Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes are owned by both of these teams.
Benched here, and that turned out to be the wrong choice.
So yeah, I mean, Stroud got concussed, and it turns out that you should not play anybody against the Jets because the Jets.
Don't play play no quarterback against the Jets. They make good quarterbacks look mid.
Dude, I played Quinnen Williams because fucking it's that was an obvious good play this week.
Well,
it's only literally Tunsil on that.
See, I mean, this is what happens when you play at MetLife. There has to be a sacrifice, and unfortunately, it was another starting quarterback for the NFL.
Yeah, which rip to this league,
dude. What the fuck is going on this season? I hope that next season is like the most unprecedented, healthy quarterback situation ever.
It's only right.
This fucking sucks, man.
Dude, I just picked up Joe Flacco. We'll get to it. I picked up Joe Flacco.
Good.
Oh my god.
You mean former Super Bowl MVP Joe Flacco?
Beat fucking Tom Brady on the way to a Super Bowl MVP Joe Flacco.
Yes, sir. That
Joe Flacco with the Baltimore Ravens at the time.
Honestly, I should post the video that SB Nation did on the worst playoff game ever because that's
a good one. That channel actually is a good show.
Yeah,
that's a top 10
Yeah,
should be internet Hall of Fame. SB Nation is top tier.
Yeah, elite.
It's very good. Very good video.
The complete history of the Seattle Mariners is like one of the top 5 pieces of content on the internet.
It's so good.
It's
that
so
and
true.
the Falcons.
The Falcons one went hard as fuck too.
Yeah.
I did one for. I think they're in the process of doing one for the Vikings too right now.
I think the Vikings one is done.
It's done. I'm waiting for the supercut before I watch everything. I watched like the first episode and I was like, okay, I gotta wait.
Yeah, it's so wild. There's so much history there.
It's
fucking ridiculous.
Anyway, let's get back to this.
Yeah. DJ Moore. Yeah, DJ Moore, elite separator.
He had
what Steve says. Elite separator.
They need a wide receiver.
I mean,
Carolina Panthers are over there like fuck.
No.
They're so down bad, man.
Yeah. Nick Bolton's back. Had a good game.
Yeah, I was gonna say he finally got Nick Bolton back. That was probably really good. Madubuike had another sack. That kid is killing it. I'm excited to watch
contract year, next year. He's gonna get the bag.
He's getting the bag.
Because I think there was beat reporters saying that he was not interested in playing for the Ravens because, as we know, the Ravens don't like signing players to huge contracts, and that's why the situation with Lamar Jackson was such a big deal. Because there was concern that he would get traded because they didn't want to pay him. Madubuike is going to be in that situation as well next season because he's putting up a ridiculous performance out of nowhere. So
I think he's a prime candidate to get tagged, just like Lamar was. Just with the way.
Do you think they use the tag on him and not like? Surely they've got to have someone else they're picking up a 5th-year option on.
No,
that they would rather tag.
Who else are you gonna do? They've already paid.
I mean, I don't know. I'm asking you.
What?
I mean, maybe Patrick Queen. With Patrick Queen,
is Patrick Queen coming up on his 5th year?
Yeah, he was the same year as Jordan Brooks. They were taking one after the other.
So I mean, maybe they tag him.
Okay,
like I don't know.
maybe
Because I think.
But I bet you Patrick Queen signs back with them this year, and then they tag.
Maybe they pay him and then trade Madubuike or let him go in free agency. I don't know.
Yeah, something like that.
A sign and trade for Madubuike is like good business if you're gonna tag Queen.
Yeah.
Bynum, pretty good game. DeBall Hawk did not hawk balls, but had a good game.
Noah Gray had a donut.
Yeah, another Noah Gray donut. I think that's Yeah.
How does he not have a tight end that he can play that's not Noah Gray? Like a tight end in his third season behind Travis Kelsey is
That
desperation.
is no,
Crazy.
it's the
I mean,
tight
I
end
even have
market is trash. Like there's just no
I
one
mean,
else
there's
on his
guys on the
roster.
wire I would play over Noah Gray. That's just
yeah,
me
dude.
though.
I mean, I've got
He's got McBride who's on bye.
Oh, okay,
This
that's
is
right.
that
He
this is a
picked up
explains
sub.
enough.
He picked up Daryl Henderson. That's
Yeah,
right.
Daryl Henderson.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm surprised he still hasn't moved off of him. I mean, Noah Gray's a dude you can just kind of cycle through the wire.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, that's a
if once Travis Kelsey retires, then Noah Gray becomes very interesting. I would keep him on my roster, but
Yeah.
I don't know. Personally, I would be playing someone else.
I would not
I'd just be looking for the next slot receiver that they
Because, like,
fucking draft.
dude, I cannot, as good as Patrick Mahomes is, I cannot trust that offense right now.
Oh, no, it's a trash off.
Which brings us to Kadarius Toney. I feel so bad for this dude.
Oh man, Kadarius Toney is like as much of a punching bag as he's become right now. Man, he's still so fucking ridiculously talented.
He is. Like, you get the ball in his hands, he's just like, he's a
monster.
playmaker, man.
Yeah, dude.
Like,
Only he could have like 5 carries in the Super Bowl and also like have 200 yards or like 100 yards or whatever the fuck he had. Like,
so
only he could do that.
This was the contentious play right here that caused everyone to melt down. Like, that is an all-time play by Travis Kelsey to lateral the ball
Kelsey play.
and get the
And
touchdown.
look how fast, like his acceleration, he beats 2 guys who take good angles. Like,
He's
yeah,
just
man.
like, but this is like a great lateral. Like Kelsey knows he's fucked right there, and then just like hits it, and like bam.
I mean, but that's like the tight end thing though that like Logan Thomas could also do. I mean, he's not like fucking Travis Kelsey obviously, but like
Travis Kelsey
he's
is
a
the
converted.
one tight end who
I mean, he's a converted like
shit.
QB to tight end. That happens all the time.
Maybe Taysom Hill.
Taysom Hill could do that, yeah. And then Kermit getting going crazy.
But yeah, he was offsides.
Clearly offsides.
And he's clearly offsides. But the reason why Patrick Mahomes is so pissed off is because the Chiefs haven't had an offensive encroachment call like this since 1995. Offensive offsides hasn't been called with Pat Mahomes under center for the entire time he's been there.
It's also only happened 11 times
But
this year, courtesy of the Ringer Fantasy Football Show. Shout out to them for that.
But here's the thing with this that I think is hilarious. Patrick Mahomes literally has a ring because of a ticky-tack call that was called one way the entire game, and then at the end of the game the refs decide to call it the other way. Like, the Bradbury hold in the Super Bowl against the Eagles last year will go down in infamy. Because it was a ticky-tack call. It was a hold. Yes,
it was a hold. The jersey was so obviously pulled. But yeah.
There are so many other instances throughout that game where literally the same thing was happening and the refs let them play. But then
also,
in the pivotal moment of the game where if they don't get that third down, then they're out of field goal range and they have to punt the ball back to the Eagles. And that gives Jalen Hurts a shot to try and win a Super Bowl. Instead, they call the penalty, they burn more clock, they punt,
and they win.
Get the go-ahead field goal, and then there's no time left, and they win the game.
On the same play,
so then when this happens, and Patrick Mahomes is losing his goddamn mind over the exact same situation where it's going against him, I just can't help but laugh. Because it's like, brother, you have been on the receiving side of this, and you won a Super Bowl because of it. Cry me a fucking river. I don't know if you saw after the game when he was going up to all the players. He went up to Josh Allen he went up to Josh Allen. And he was complaining to Josh Allen. It's like, dude, like, stay healthy, good game. Like, where's that?
Be professional. Yeah.
Like, I lost a lot of respect for Patrick Mahomes because of this shit. Because it's like, fuck you. Like, it was a penalty. Get over it.
I will say this though:
he's dying on a really weird hill.
On this play, Jawan Taylor, their right tackle, also committed a penalty. Like they didn't throw the flag, but they could
Yeah.
have thrown that one too.
Yeah,
Like
there was
negating his
also
play.
like in the following or the previous drive there was a offsides as well, an offensive offsides. Like there's pictures all over the place of like offensive. Like if you go on the Chiefs subreddit right now, it's just like it's just like post after post after post of just offensive offsides that have happened all season long, and they're so fucking burnt over this one play against. It's just like, can you not handle losing to the Bills for once? Like, do
No,
you have to dominate them every single time you play them? You guys have 3 Super Bowls in like no time at all. You have more Super Bowls than other franchises will get in their entire existence.
yeah,
And you're
and
complaining
that's
about
not
this.
counting the ones that you had early on too.
Like, cry me a river.
Yeah, no, like
Squeaky wheel gets the grease, man.
It's
all it does
almost to the point where this was like set up to like get sympathy for the refs because of how awful they've been this season. Because it's like unequivocally you can say the refs are right in this situation. It's like weird that this is all like I don't know. The NFL is scripted. This is part of it. Fucking Patrick Mahomes.
All right, let's
being a fucking
get off
baby.
the Patrick Mahomes
yeah,
whatever
I don't give a fuck about
rant you're
Kermit's
going on
tantrum
and get
anymore.
back to these matchups.
Yeah, I didn't
Yeah.
watch this game. It was.
I was not
it
going
seems
to watch
like
this
it was
game. I don't
exciting.
care.
Yeah.
What, the Bills and the Chiefs? You didn't want to watch that?
No.
Fuck no.
You're crazy.
Are you kidding me?
You're
Why do I
crazy.
want to watch the Chiefs offense? Like, sell me on
Because
that.
of the Chiefs and the Bills, man.
That means
You're a hater.
nothing.
You're a hater.
It's nothing.
Goddamn right.
The
Anyway,
the
Josh
playoff
Allen had a 4 game with
rematch or
27
whatever.
points.
Yeah. I mean, really though.
Oh yeah.
You want Josh Allen to get like 40 every fucking week.
I mean,
That's
his
what he does.
floor
Look at
is-
it. Look at his.
floor is 20.
Yeah.
No, his floor is like 30, bro. Look at this. All
Yeah,
season
the
long, he's been like
14,
30 points every week.
Trust me, no. There's like a number of 14s and 18s and 16s.
Yeah, no, he turns into Mush Allen.
He's literally the
Sometimes he
number one
mushes it.
quarterback in our format. It says right there.
Yeah.
30 points a week is expected. It's just like CMC.
Yeah, he's-
People get upset when CMC doesn't get 2 touchdowns and like 100 yards rushing at least.
I mean,
like,
yeah.
it's the same thing with
Hit him
Josh
hard.
Allen. Josh Allen doesn't get you 30 points. You're like, oh, shit.
Derrick Henry.
Vintage
came back
Derrick
from the
Henry.
grave.
He didn't have that
Yeah.
30 point. I'm gonna fuck you up, but he did what an RB1's supposed to do.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
Cooper Cup, good play again. Like, always play
Mm-hmm.
him. Alex Singleton, 14 tackles.
Best game of the year.
sack,
What, dude?
and
These these players getting like north of like 10 tackles and getting sacks and shit is just like crazy.
Yeah.
Having
it's
crazy games.
Dominant game, man. Cam Hayward finally got his sack after like doing absolutely
Forever.
nothing.
Kyle Hamilton
Yeah.
sprained his MCL. I don't know if you
Yeah,
caught
that's
that.
that sucks,
That's
dude.
tough.
That
He's going to
sucks.
be off for the rest of the
He's
season.
he'll be back for playoffs most likely, but he's done for fantasy. He's done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Unless it's
I
like
mean, it's
really
the same-
mild.
It's the same
No.
though for like Mark
No,
Andrews. Like
he's done.
he's done. It doesn't matter. Like, he's
Well,
gone.
for fantasy, I'm saying Kyle Hamilton might be back for playoffs. Like if they go on a run, they'll have him.
If it's
maybe,
mild
yeah.
enough, maybe.
If
but
it's
I
a grade
thought
1
if they just
sprain,
put him on.
it should
If they
be
just
fine.
put him on IR.
But for fantasy, Danny's gonna have to pivot, unfortunately.
Yeah.
yeah, that's going to be a thing.
I thought
Luckily,
watching the
wide is
Titans.
pretty rich, and he's got Rich Jenkins and you know.
Oh, he's
Awesome.
fine. Danny's got some really good options at
Baker.
defense to play
Yeah.
with. I thought Tyjae Spears looked really good. I can see that Tyjae Spears is likely the future at running back for this team, unless they draft a guy in the 3rd next year and he wins the job in training camp. I can see Tyjae Spears being the guy in
You can
Tennessee
see
for a
Tyjae
minute.
Spears being
Which is
hard to
cool
beat.
because like Tajay Spears was like, I don't know, like the 5th round kind of like running back, like, and showed out in preseason and has definitely earned himself a shot to be the lead guy at the very least.
he's a really good rookie pickup.
Yeah.
Indeed.
Good-
Danny had a
good
really good
prospect.
draft. Danny had a really good rookie draft.
Yeah.
Yeah, that Jordan Addison didn't do it. No Viking did anything in this game. That game was
Well,
just
that's-
weird.
No
3-0
Viking
doesn't
game,
happen, and it just doesn't happen.
Yeah.
I thought this game was going to end in a 0-0 tie, which has happened
too.
in NFL history. Not in our lifetime.
3
But
Let's
to
hope
that
it does.
would have been
Ronnie,
interesting
though,
to
right?
witness. Be like, yeah, I watched a 0-0 game happen. Like Trevor actually watched the 6-6 Seahawks tie in person.
Ugh.
That's
I saw
historic.
that happen. Yeah,
That's
I saw
that's
that. I
that's
saw
not
the
the game
6-6.
you want to see in person, but
No,
it's historic that you
he's
were
still
there.
tilted. If you ask him about it, he's still fucking tilted about that game.
Yeah, no,
The
I
game was
would be
awful.
too if I was
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
And it was the
no,
cards, the shitty cards.
Yeah,
That
yeah,
version
no.
of the Cardinals is
Seahawks
actually pretty
playing
good though,
down
because they had Larry
is
Fitzgerald and
everlasting.
yeah.
That was Carson Palmer season.
Yeah, I was about to say that was the Palmer like stuff. Yeah, Carson Palmer, man, like Pro Bowl
Not
Pro Bowl
not
quarterback.
That's a
bad.
name.
The
Yeah.
they had a decent running back then too, right?
I honestly can't remember.
Dude,
This is
I
so
don't know.
long ago. I don't remember. Um. Yeah, Miles Garrett has also been shockingly absent the last couple games.
That's
I think
because
he's
like
hurt.
2 weeks. Yeah, no, 2 weeks ago he like hurt his shoulder and was in a sling.
Yeah, I mean he's clearly.
been-
I mean it looks like he's gonna play this weekend, and he played last game, but yeah,
That
been
being said, like,
complaining
he's
that-
obviously hurt, and he has a solo tackle for a loss, 3 hits on a QB. Like
He's been
we're
he's
all
not
right.
doing what
complaining
fucking
in
Max
press
Crosby's doing, who
conferences.
should be in a hospital, and he's getting
No,
like
he's-
3 sacks a game. Dude's fucking nuts.
Miles
Yeah, well,
Garrett's
Mad
getting
Max.
complained about getting Shaq attacked by the refs in press conferences.
I don't know. I think Miles Garrett is better than Max Crosby personally.
Well, yeah, basically he's saying that like fucking refs aren't calling penalties on him that are obvious penalties because he's.
Well, it's
Myles
because
Garrett,
the
and that's
Browns were
what
getting all
people
the
just
penalties
do.
earlier in the season. They're just playing makeup. There was a
Yeah,
lot of
yeah.
earlier in the season.
The
We
thing
were
is
talking a
that
lot
you
about the
don't-
weird
you
games.
just can't
Yeah.
defend Miles Garrett without causing a penalty, and so like
I mean, yeah, no, I mean the Shaq treatment is very apt for a lot of guys. Like you just can't call
like
everything.
you just can't call everything.
Yeah.
Like
Like, there's,
Myles Garrett is one of those guys who's just
Actually, there's
like
a great
freak like
story
that.
about Shaq, like his second year in the league. One of the current ESPN analysts that goes on TV and whatnot, like tries to hack him. Shaq's going up for a dunk and lifts him up like from the hack, like changes his momentum from hacking downward to lifting his entire body up in this dunk.
Mhm.
Wow,
Like, yeah. Just
Yeah.
brump.
that's
It's like,
crazy.
Fuck you. Is that it?
I think that's
that
pretty much all I had for this game, except I know that Kelsey owns him, but since we're talking about Josh's matchup here, Miles Sanders had a Beastquake-esque run this week. I just wanted to
Yeah.
make sure that Josh knew that Miles Sanders is out there slaying fools, and he is a top running back in the league. No doubter, top pick next year. Bet on it.
All right. That's a hill to die on.
Nah, fuck that. I know Miles Sanders is hot trash. I don't
That's
know.
that is indeed a hill.
All
to die
right.
on. We're doing Joe and
Who's
I'll die.
next?
I'll die on the mailman hill because he produces entertaining football and memes. But I won't die on the
Aw,
Miles
dude.
Sanders hill. I'll give you that one, Joe.
All right. Oh, I don't have a strong take on Miles Sanders, so
Well, you should.
okay. Well, I'm not going
You
to.
got to work on that. All right. Well,
my strong take on Miles Sanders is that he's buried in a depth chart.
and they're going to draft a running back, and he will not be the guy very soon.
Yeah.
Congratulations, everybody. We predicted the future.
Well, Joe, congratulations. You are. I think it's your first playoff in fantasy.
Yeah. Very sad way to go into this.
Are you kidding me? The sixth
well,
seed? You're the
6 seed,
literally the
points
wild
more.
card. You are
I-
the guy that's gonna come in and fuck someone up.
Bruh,
but-
I just
But
lost
Herbert,
I just lost Herbert, who chargered. Like 100% chargered. Like
That's
got
so
hurt.
brutal. He broke
chargered
his
your
finger.
team in
He broke
some
his
ways.
index finger on his throwing hand. Will have surgery and is out for the rest of the year.
How bad was it? Because usually they just buddy tape that shit and let him go. But I know he's a quarterback. It's his throwing hand. But like, I didn't see like film or a picture. Like, how fucked was his finger? Was
must
it
have
like
been
you see it
pretty
on the
bad.
broadcast and you're like, oh, he's done, or is it
I
just
don't
like
He
remember.
needed surgery, so
Yeah,
he got
it must have been pretty bad.
the reporting on this is like, oh, he's dead, and I'm like, what? He broke his finger.
basically, if you get surgery on your finger, you got mallet finger. is what happens.
Oh, so it's a tendon thing.
Yeah, that's what like if it's
Probably.
this
Okay, that's
quick, like
brutal.
yeah,
I thought because I thought it was just a broken bone, but
Yeah,
no,
no, I
no.
think
like
I think
if
there
it's
was
this quick,
probably
this is what happened to
additional.
Russ. This
Yeah,
is
it
what
is what happened
happened.
to Russ. I remember.
Mhm,
Like yeah, no, he's got mallet finger. Like it's unfortunate. That's the way it
mhm.
goes. Um,
Yep.
that
Yep.
sucks.
Yep.
All aboard the Joe Flacco train, guys.
Everybody, yeah, let's go.
Yeah, let's
Flacco, choo
go.
choo.
Well, it's him or Baker, and I mean, if I'm gonna choose one, it's got to be the competent one.
I
Yeah,
mean, the
Um,
Browns' offense with Joe Flacco looks functional.
dude,
Like
which is
the
David
Browns
David
literally.
Njoku was a monster last week. I don't think I
If
forgot to comment on that, but David Njoku looked really good with
at least
Flacco.
I
he
said
looks
something
he
about
looks
it. He had a
good
monster
again
game.
this
Yeah,
week.
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, the one QB thing away for the Browns was not a lie. It's just they chose Deshaun.
Yeah,
Not the
they made a
greatest pick,
bad
but they
choice.
were right that they were a QB away.
Yeah, right.
Um,
It just turns out that Flacco is the guy, apparently. Now that he's a year removed from football and has had some time
and
to
is no
figure it
longer
out.
a Raven.
Yeah, exactly.
Imagine if they had
Or a
Baker
Jet.
Mayfield.
He ended his career a Jet.
Yeah, imagine
So-
if they had just kept Baker.
Seriously. I really
Yeah,
wish
like-
they did. I really fucking wish they did.
That'd be
You and the
crazy,
rest of
honestly.
Cleveland.
Yeah.
Like honestly,
Everyone
I'm not
in-
kidding.
No.
I don't
Everyone in Cleveland. Everyone in Cleveland loved
I don't know
Baker.
many people from Ohio, but like every Browns fan that I've talked to has been like, yeah, we should have kept Baker. He was a dog.
Oh yeah, I got a cousin who's a Browns fan. He's like,
And they're, I
love
bet,
Baker.
are they super butthurt about the Deshaun? Like the asshole, super racist piece of shit that doesn't give a fuck, like is like hates Bud Light because of that whole thing and everything, is like the kind of Browns fan that would like Deshaun Watson. And then
Oh, no,
there's your more reasonable person that's like,
Actually, my cousin's from Seattle. He's just this nerd that went to Case Western in Cleveland.
oh, so it's by extension.
Yeah. Well, he hate watched the 0-16 season.
So did I,
Yeah,
and that's actually where I became a Browns fan. Was
Yeah, that's
watching
how-
that.
that's why he's a Browns
that
That's
and
the
Josh
origin
Gordon.
story. Yeah.
That and Josh Gordon
Yeah.
was why I like the Browns, but I can't.
He's just sad.
I can't
He's
like
just
them
sad.
now. Except I like Myles Garrett, but like I don't like the Browns because they're making horrible decisions.
No, he's in that camp. He's just like very sad about the whole situation.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah. Mitch Trubisky had a terrible game, but put
He's a
up
backup
normal-
quarterback. Go figure.
Normal
When you're
fantasy numbers.
It
Like
was bad,
terrible, absolute garbage game, but
agreed, I watched
perfectly
that game.
respectable.
I
Fucking,
watched that game and I was like, Mitch Trubisky is fucking trash, and I was
he's
just
so
mad.
bad,
Maybe it's because
So
I have my players rely on him
Bruh,
distorting my
Deontay
view. But then I
Johnson.
checked the score and I was like, how the fuck did he have a 27-point game?
Dude,
What the
I have
fuck?
Deontay Johnson, and like I can't like the only reason that Deontay Johnson is worth keeping in a lineup is that Mitch Trubisky panics and throws him the ball in the end zone. That's what happens at least once a game.
Yeah.
Score.
He's like, he's over there. Ah!
Give it to him.
See,
Yeah.
George Pickens can do that too, but he just
no,
can't
it's
get his
the-
feet down in
Look,
bounds. So.
it's the fucking 9 passing first downs
It was also the rushing touchdown helps.
and the rushing
Yeah, it's the rushing
touchdown
touchdown that like
goes a long way too. But like, yeah,
it's because after Matt Canada left, all of the idea that there is a Pittsburgh running back who we're starting is not a real thing.
I don't know. I thought Jalen Warren looked good. His output was terrible, but they were force feeding him the ball. It felt like every single other play, it felt like it was a Jalen Warren doing something was the plan.
I mean, it's a Tony Pollard situation.
Yeah,
like-
they need like the Steelers running back has always been coveted for fantasy because of Mike Tomlin's philosophy about how the running back should be used, which is why Lev Bell was for years a
The guy.
broken ass player because he was a 2,500 yards from scrimmage guy every season because he got 100% of the snaps, and the only reason he would come out is because he just broke off a 70-yard run.
Yeah.
But
He was CMC before CMC too because he got the PPR stuff.
I think Lev Bell was better than CMC, personally. But a lot of that has to do with the fact that the line that Lev Bell had was better than the line that the Niners have now. Like,
That's saying some shit. 'Cause
yeah, the line that Big Ben had to play behind was
I mean, yeah, no, keeping Big Ben
insane.
up, right? Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, back to the matchup though. Jared Cook. Thank God Ken Dorsey is gone, and they understand that James Cook is like
That's what I
good.
was gonna say. They
Holy
finally
fuck,
utilized the running back the way a running back should be
it
utilized.
is unbelievable. It's like
Designed
look at this
runs,
guy.
designed runs for your quarterback in the red zone is great for fantasy, but it is so stupid for real life football.
Yeah, and it's like, I mean, he had like those 83 yards, like receiving yards are off like three catches. Like the two other catches were like for negative yardage, but like it's
Yeah.
like designing plays for your running back and having him be a running back. Who knew? You just need good players to do that, and it works out.
It's crazy because we see Devin Singletary, who was the workhorse running back for the Bills the last couple seasons, goes to a new team and looks great. It's a scheme problem, and it says a lot about these players on your team where it's like, oh, they're really bad and they never score any points in fantasy, but then just a coaching change or a philosophy change, they just shift the way they use them just a little bit and they show you what they can be because these are all elite athletes. Every single player that's on your roster is,
An
the
elite
top
athlete, yeah.
1% of athletes in the world that can play
It's
this
okay
sport,
though. With
So
I mean, it's okay though. Like the general idea of James Cook being good in the future, I think is pretty set because like he's obviously
until
shown
they
he's
draft
good.
a running back, which they will do,
Yeah,
then
they'll
you're
draft one because they need another one.
yeah.
But like even still, they're gonna have coaching changes, and unless they like they're not gonna draft one high because they've got much bigger problems.
Yeah. I mean,
Like
also James Cook has the benefit of being related, like to a elite running back. I'm sure his brother can give him some pointers.
and nepotism is real.
Nepotism
Um,
is real.
AJ Brown had a floor game, and that's unfortunate because the Eagles have regressed a lot. They are not the world beaters they were at the beginning of the year. I do not know what's different other than hurt people. That's about it.
Honestly, it's a scheme thing. Again, it's the uh, their coordinator is doing really questionable shit at this point. It's like, yeah, cool, they can do the tush push or the brotherly shove or whatever you want to call it, but they're struggling to find consistency on offense. And
I mean, part of it is that
their line, I think has been banged up. I don't follow the injuries for linemen that closely around the league, but I believe that they have some key injuries there.
okay.
At the
It would
at the
explain
very
why.
least, they don't look like they did last year.
I mean, it would explain why DeAndre Swift has not been producing the last few weeks. Then,
Yeah,
because like
they're
they
not
don't have a run
opening up
game.
holes that are
That's right.
literally this wide that I could
Yeah,
run through and get 20 yards on.
yeah.
You know,
Jameer Gibbs, still a good play.
oh, he looked electric every time there was a highlight, but then it was
Yeah,
like nothing, nothing, and then like I
they're splitting between him and Demo.
exactly.
Like yeah,
It's the canine and Charbonnet thing, except different system. Same
and
problem, just
that
is what it is.
Jameer Gibbs is the explosive one, or the
Yeah,
real
he's the
explosive.
scat back, and then you
Yeah,
have Demont, that's the hammer,
yeah.
thunder and lightning.
Uh, yeah. Again, Deontay Johnson. I don't know what the Steelers are gonna do, man. They're like, uh, need to rename Jake Ferguson to Turd Ferguson again. I
Yeah,
think.
yes, you do. He's a
Um,
turd. I mean, he's also playing on one of the most like elite offenses in the league right now, which I had
yeah,
to almost threw up saying that. But the
it's true.
Cowboys are incredible right now.
The Cowboys look legit. Whether or not they are, is yet to be seen. Calvin Ridley and Amari Cooper were in the same game. It was very bad all the way around, even though they got floor performances. The Oh man, Trevor Lawrence just could not throw it like accurate.
He couldn't buy a first down in that game.
He also couldn't throw beyond 20 yards accurately. Like he just could not put the touch and the power together. He would just chuck it up there.
They're
It was
having a cursed season.
yeah.
Like
They're
it's
cursed right
been
now.
really really rough for them,
Yeah.
unfortunately.
Yeah. Uh Devin Lloyd somehow outscored Aluakun, which is not how that usually goes. Montez Sweat did Montez Sweat things. Roquan stuff.
I found it.
Yeah.
So I had a tweet that I saved, but then it got deleted. But I found another clip of this. Did you see this? This is because we were talking about the Lions. I love these. You'll know why. You'll know why in a sec.
Um, oh, this is the Yak. Oh yeah.
Yeah, yeah, dude. I love big man runs. They're my favorite. Probably one of my favorite things in
Big
this
man
sport.
rumbling.
Big
He's heading
man runs.
downfield. Get that thing going.
It's Benito Jones.
Yeah, Benito Jones. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Both my DBs failed me. Witherspoon
got hurt. Yeah, he should be back next week though. And then yeah, Brian Branch has been quiet.
Well,
actually, no, he was good last week, but he was
good last week.
Yeah,
but he was quiet this week for obvious reasons because the Lions are falling apart. I guess I don't know. But
yeah,
on the other side,
and the Dolphins are struggling right now.
Yeah. Scott's guy, the Mayo man, was delivering Mayo all day to Hopkins.
That game was badass. Like even though I like McDaniel and obviously Tua is my fantasy quarterback. Blah blah blah. That offense is super fun to watch. I like watching Dolphins games. I want the Dolphins in the playoffs, but that game was so fucking exciting. They ended up losing it. Like it was so dramatic the way that game ended with the really, really clutch catch by DeAndre Hopkins. It just looked like vintage DeAndre Hopkins. Bomb to set up the game winner touchdown in the fourth. He didn't get the touchdown, but it basically set them up to get that touchdown late in the fourth quarter, give them the go ahead touchdown, and then the Dolphins their drive ended up stalling at midfield again, like it happened multiple times in this game. The mailman did throw a pick six.
Well, that's all. Yeah, he did. And that was hilarious because it was to another one of Kelsey's players. What's his name? Zach
Steeler.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was hilarious.
It was the classic. You're like when you're a DB and you're in the situation that they're in, where when the quarterback receives the snap, they're running around in their own end zone. That is a dream for a DB because that is the easiest pick six of your life if you get your hands on that because you're not going to get tackled running it back 5 yards.
You mean a DT? This guy's a DT, man.
Well, I'm saying just in general, like when you're in a situation where the offense is backed up in their own zone, you just show blitz, and then if you get the ball, it's just an immediate pick six. Yeah. DT getting a
pick six is hilarious.
It's the rarest thing in the world.
Is really rare. Yeah, we saw it like
like a once a year thing. Congrats, it won this game.
Yeah. It did win her the game. That was the first score that won her of that game, and it also was the nail in the coffin.
Yeah, that and Tremaine Edmonds and Antoine Winfield really shit on your day.
Tremaine Edmonds, yeah, he did Tremaine Edmonds stuff. That was a good signing by the Bears, honestly. And then Antoine Winfield somehow had an even more complete game.
That dude is a monster. I mean, it does. I act like he got like 30 points, but like he was a force in that game, and is part of the reason, a huge reason why they ended up winning against the Falcons. Which, by the way, this was a divisional game. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers are now the number 1 seed in the NFC South, so they're the kings of shit mountain at the moment.
Well, fuck. I would really like it if the quarterback situation that I have was sorted out before I needed to make cuts.
It's rough out there in the streets.
Yeah, whatever. There are worse problems to have than ayahuasca man being the problem.
Yeah, that's true.
Is there anything else?
I wanted to say Wan'Dale Robinson looked great for the Giants. Too much to Steve's chagrin, Wan'Dale Robinson was just carving up Green Bay. He had a lot of really good plays in this game. 7 for 6, 79 yards. She didn't play him, but I wanted to highlight that player because he was killing it.
Cutlets.
He's been playing on the practice squad all year and like in the third string all year, and has just recently been elevated. So he's had a lot of time to
Well,
make a
Wandale
connection with
Robinson?
DeVito. Yeah, right.
No,
Isn't
he's
he-
been playing all season.
Yeah, dude,
Oh,
Wandale
well.
Robinson's like kind of it's him and Darius Slay that are kind of their mainstays at slot, although they only have slot receivers except for
Yeah.
Hyatt.
Oh, okay.
Clearly, their plan was to use the superstar tight end in Darren Waller, and then a committee of wide receivers to produce all their offense with Saquon Barkley, taking care of all the rushing duties. But that plan quickly went to shit this season with the situation with Daniel Jones, and just generally their defense being awful, and their offense being awful,
Right.
and the team being awful. So
That's the way it is.
here you have
Yeah,
Wandale
they
Robinson
bad.
stepping up and probably going to be a league winner for a lot of people.
Probably. Tommy Cutlets likes him, I guess.
Nope.
Yeah.
Well, that's pretty much all I had for this matchup.
Yeah, that's kind of it. There's nothing else there. Avoid, if you can, all Jaguars players in the future.
Yeah, they are rough right now. It's just
not
mulligan.
good.
They're
Trevor
having
Lawrence?
a cursed season. I consider the situation with the Jaguars to be quite similar to what's going on with Cincinnati. Like regression from every level this season. It's just
Yeah.
a little different
Yep.
because you have the question marks around Trevor Lawrence's ability to be a franchise level quarterback and not just a game manager, like a Dak Prescott kind of guy. And then on top of that, you don't really have any superstar stud offensive weapons on that team outside of question marks around Calvin Ridley and Travis Etienne. You have some good
Yeah, I mean,
defensive
I think-
pieces, but it's like nothing is gelling.
Right.
And it's similar to what's going on with Cincinnati.
I think the biggest difference, though, is that Cincinnati obviously has the superstar wide receiver in Jamar Chase.
Yeah, it's like a budget
And-
version of that is my point.
I wouldn't call Calvin Ridley an X, though. Like, he's not the fastest guy downfield. He never has been. He was never Julio Jones, you know? Like,
Mm-hmm.
he was never that guy.
He was
was always-
flashing that though with Matt Ryan.
No, he like
If
no,
you
he
don't
wasn't,
remember, if you don't remember him his rookie
like,
season,
I had him both of those seasons in fantasy I was watching. Like, he wasn't the superstar.
you
X
can make
down
the argument.
receiver.
I can
like,
see you making the
he was a
argument
big body
that
guy, right?
with Julio Jones, it enabled him because the coverage was taken away from that side of the field so that he could
Well, it's
dominate.
also it's actually about the route tree is where I'm going with this. Is because like in this matchup they just kept throwing go balls and like expecting him
Right.
to win, and it's like that's not his game. Like his game is like that in breaking route like DK did a couple weeks ago on Duron Bland. Like
He can
that's
run a
his game.
post. He can run a post, and he's good at catching go route balls. Like
He's just not like if you keep doing it, he's just like he's not the fastest. Like to say like elite athlete, just
he's
not
a route technician,
fastest.
not route technician, but
he's a
not
route guy,
necessarily
not a burner.
right.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he's
not
a route
like
guy.
he's not like a Justin
level route
Ross kind of
Yeah.
like burn you with speed kind of guy. Yeah.
He's not. Yeah,
I-
not the
I can see
burner.
that.
He's a route. He's definitely the route guy.
Yeah.
That's his game. But let's move on to
All right,
John and
Trevor.
Trevor.
defense wins championships. That's what I took away from this one. This
Yep.
some pretty big defensive plays.
Yeah.
Like
He finally put Khalil Mack in.
he finally put Khalil Mack in and got a paltry
pass
8
defense.
points.
But he did get the pass defense.
He got the pass defense. Ah,
Luke Wilson's been
after
playing good.
I know, dude.
Oh my God, that's too on the
Chargers.
nose,
that is
man.
that is
That's
I
really
keep
amazing.
telling I don't know why he doesn't listen to me. Just go to his mom, be like, "Mom, should I play Khalil Mack in fantasy football this week?" She'd be like, "I don't know, probably not." Be like, "Okay, I won't."
No, this is amazing. Honestly, like that.
Just needs to, yeah, he
specifically,
needs
like,
to take the
'cause
decision
it's
making
like-
out of him. Yeah.
If you go down it, it's like roster bench, roster bench. Buy, bench, roster, bench,
This is so
bench,
fucking funny.
roster. Like it's clockwork.
I put him
Yeah,
in. He does nothing.
And you know what? Like I really needed a 20-point game out of Khalil Mack, and in the PSYOP league and lost. So
Yep.
damn it, Trevor.
Well, I mean, Trevor didn't need a whole lot of help to win this game. John's team kind of fell apart at the seams. I mean, Jalen, we talked about it earlier, but the Eagles' offense is broken completely. Like, look at this.
They've got no run
John's
game.
look at John's offensive plays here. It looks like my team.
And this is like playing Stephon Diggs,
I
who
mean,
like
this is
not
everybody
great.
having a bad
Mike Evans-
time.
Dude, Mike Evans, like, had a 1,000-yard season this season.
He got
Has
one
1,000
catch.
yards.
He got one catch this week. Like every single week, he had 1 week where he was meh. 6.5 points in week 4. Came back from the bye and then got 8.4. But other than that, every single week he has been money. And then this week he was just nothing. So hopefully for John, since he's going to be a playoff team, Mike Evans bounces back from this because that's really concerning. You could argue that part of the reason why this was such a difficult game for Mike Evans is that it was a divisional matchup against Jesse Bates, and maybe that's the reason why he struggled so hard. But yeah, I mean the Falcons secondary isn't shitty. Their issues are with their linebackers. They have nobodies at linebacker, and their defensive line doesn't generate pressure consistently. Occasionally they do, but
No, they're playing Green Bay next week. Definitely keep playing Mike Evans.
yeah. Oh yeah, Mike Evans should be
He'll be
fine.
fine.
Should be fine.
He'll be fine. Don't worry.
I mean, his other plays though, like Thibodeau, great game. Son Reddick, great game. Hendrickson, great game.
I was gonna say the Giants triple stack didn't really work this time.
It didn't do as well, but
It worked
Carrot
fabulously
Cake did.
against me when I needed to win, but in this kind of nothing burger week where Trevor is just trying to ensure that he got the first seed
Yeah.
they ensure the bye.
or the bye week.
I mean, Trevor got the requisite Purdy needed to be Purdy game. 26
Brock
points.
Purdy is in the MVP race right now, no question.
Stupid.
Yeah.
It's fucking ridiculous, and I'm a hater. I'm gonna be a hater because I am a hater.
That is dumb. That is so much.
I mean, he's literally first in so many metrics that matter for quarterback. But the thing is, again, I bring this up every week, and I'm the guy. I'm the guy in chat that's like, but he's got an elite offensive line, and he's got the most stacked offensive weapon situation that you could possibly ask for, and a quarterback or a head coach that knows how to utilize you. And it has the perfect system designed specifically for you.
If Purdy is on the MVP ballot, and McCaffrey,
He will be. He will be. I mean,
MVP is a quarterback award.
It's a quarterback award. Yeah, it's so rare. You have to be
but
you have to be Adrian Peterson
or LT. You have to be LT to
I think
steal
McCaffrey
the
is probably
MVP.
entering that. He's been.
I mean, Sean
so
Alexander,
dominant.
for as much as that triggers
Trevor.
Trevor. He got an MVP. You need to have these outliers.
I know what Trevor's on about here. That was when that's when he liked him. That's when Sean Alexander was good. But then after he is the #1 all-time case of bagitis. He got paid, absolutely evaporated.
Got hurt, never recovered.
Got hurt, got paid, got bad. Okay.
Yep.
that's
what exactly what happened. I mean, Austin Eckler over 20 points. Welcome back.
Hey, so this was hilarious. I was watching this game. I was watching this game, and I was kind of half paying attention, and I see this running back in a Chargers uniform get a check down, and then zing, super fast. I'm like, holy shit, is that Isaiah Spiller? No shot. He's so slow. And then I see 30, and I'm like, yo, That's Austin Eckler. And then after the play, Austin Eckler's like, yeah, he's like all fired up because he had like a 20-yard scamper, like check down play. He's like, yeah, you celebrate what you always did and are really good at, but have been really bad at because you've been hurt all season, buddy. You
Yeah.
you go get him.
You bring
And
it
then
back.
immediately
Yeah.
after that, Justin Herbert broke his finger and died. And then the
It's like
Chargers
Austin
chargered.
Eckler's
And it was just
oh,
like,
no.
please get this man on a team that isn't the 49ers. Please get him on a team that
Anybody
isn't
but the 49ers. Please, good God.
Yeah, no kidding.
The best draft pick had a floor game. At some point, we're gonna have to do an actual like draft rundown, but I think everybody can agree that Puka
Week.
was the steal.
Next week.
Oh yeah, Puka Nacua was an
Nakua
amazing
was
pickup.
the steal of the draft in the 5th round.
Funny name.
For sure.
Yeah, funny name,
Yeah.
man.
Funny name.
Yo,
Yeah,
so
good
DK
call.
Metcalf, Drew Lock threw a
That was
like,
a dime.
that was like a like vintage like prime Russell Wilson pass. Threw it in a window like this big in a spot on his body where only he can make that grab, and it was a beautiful toe tapping like. On the broadcast, you were like, "Oh, he's." On the broadcast, it was like, "Oh, he's out of bounds." But then they play the replay, and you're like, "Wait, he caught that? That was a touchdown."
He rocketed it. Yeah.
Holy shit!
I mean, this is one of those things is people like will never give DK credit for being DK because he's like whatever he is in the minds of everybody. But he is that guy, and the problem is everything fell apart from there, which is exactly how I expected it to go because you can never.
It's like the
count
playoff
first
game
drive.
last year. We start out hot, like even after that horrible defensive bullshit
Well,
that
it's
happened
not-
in the
it's
beginning
not
of the
just-
game.
This is not a Seahawks thing, as much as we're talking about DK. This is an NFL thing. You cannot count the first drive of any game. It's scripted.
It's
I don't
scripted.
care. Like,
Yeah.
it's all about everything that happens afterwards is what matters in terms of like, is your team good? And like,
Yep.
yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, the fact that DK got thrown out for the suplex, I'm all for suplexes. I love them. I don't care.
They're super
He
dangerous.
deserved to be thrown out.
But that wasn't the suplex. Isn't the reason that he got ejected. It was the fact that he retaliated to what Fred Warner was doing to him, which was dirty. It was a hit. It was he was defense. He was going forward, and Fred Warner pulls up on him and hits him in the back of the head.
Yeah.
Of course, you're going to be pissed, especially when you've been picked on all game by the cornerback. Like Travarius Ward was fucking jawing with him before he got hurt, and then after that,
it was part of the game plan to get into his head.
yeah, Shanahan came back in the conference, in the post conference after the game, basically saying that was the plan, was to piss DK off and take him out of the game, and it worked, and that fucking makes me so mad because it's like, I don't know, this team is just a fucking mess, man. DK also destroyed that helmet warmer on the benches.
Was fucking awesome.
Greg Olsen continues to be completely unlistenable when it comes to broadcasting Seahawks games, and I have no idea why they keep letting him broadcast them, because his obvious disdain for the team is just it's so fucking annoying.
It's because he was on the team, and so that's why.
He was a big part of the reason why Russell Wilson got traded too. Like
also,
he was Team Russ.
I mean, he was also fucking terrible on that year.
He was also awful as a Seahawk, which is particularly annoying because he acts like he came in as like, you know, Seahawks legend. We always meme about that, like ex-legend, Y player. But like the joke was like Seahawks legend Greg Olsen because he got traded. Or I can't remember if he was signed in free agency or traded to the Panthers, and they used him properly there, and he became a.
Oh no, he got traded there, I think.
Legendary Hall of I don't know about Hall of Fame, but like he became a legendary tight end for that team. Like Greg Olsen was an amazing player. And then he comes to Seattle in his twilight years and just sucks. He was terrible as a Seahawk. So and now he just goes on broadcast and talks shit about my team, and it's like, get out of here with that, NFL. Why do you keep putting him on broadcast of the Seahawks? It's like they act like clearly they're doing it on purpose, and I can't tell if it's just because fuck the Seahawks or because of the LOB era and how cocky they were and how much shit they got away with. Most penalized team in the league, but also the #1 defense and the Richard Sherman shit talking and all that. If it's just holdover of just people hating on the Seahawks because of that, or if they legitimately think that that's a
Richard
good
Sherman
product.
unfiltered on Amazon.
I think they think
making
it's a good
great
product because they
products,
keep
so.
doing it. Like, if they didn't think it was a good product, they'd not do it. Like, they removed Al Michaels. Like, this is a business.
That was different. They're on Fox. They
Dude,
dropped, yeah,
TV's
but they
TV.
drove
Man.
fucking
TV is TV,
yeah.
for
Dude,
sure.
TV's TV. Like, if they think it's bad,
Yeah.
they'll move you. Fox
Yeah.
is like, as much as everybody can say anything about Fox, like, it is about the bottom line with them, regardless of the business. Like, Rupert Murdoch didn't get rich by being stupid.
Yeah, and making bad TV choices
Yeah.
generally.
Anyway, back to the matchups. Some other things that happened with Trevor's defense here that really locked in the win was Harold Landry went crazy. He sacked Tua 3 times. Demario Davis had a big game. And Logan Wilson had 10 tackles and a PBU. Like, the defensive options that Trevor had to play with this week were dominant.
We're just gonna skip over Joe Mixon because he definitely got one.
No, that was gonna be the next thing I was gonna say. He got one.
Mixon
He
got
looked.
one.
He was good. He was really good in this game.
Yeah.
Which is, he needs him now more than ever. Like, hopefully he doesn't just, during his bye week, just use all of the rest of the gas in his tank, and then they have to trot out Chase Brown, who actually looked really good in this game.
Dude,
he was fast as fuck. He flashed like dude. With the next gen stats stuff.
He looked like he did in college.
He was the second fastest player in the league so far this season on that 50-yard touchdown.
Damn.
Chase Brown was one of those like late round like flyer running backs that gets taken because they're fucking fast.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the same thing with Pacheco. Same thing with like Chris Carson's a bad one, but like essentially
that's a good shout. That's a good shout. I mean, I would bring up Kenny McIntosh. Like, Kenny McIntosh was his film is amazing, but he had a really bad pro day and slipped to he was almost Mr. Irrelevant / undrafted, and then the Seahawks picked him up, and now they refuse to play him.
Yeah,
it's weird. Like, he would be at least a backup, if not a starter on a bad team. Like, Kenny McIntosh on the Panthers would be murdering fools right now. But no, he ran a 250 or whatever 40-yard dash.
I really wish we would give him a shot over Charbonnet to be the lead, just to see the speed.
It was like a 450.
It was slow-ish for like.
They should run it in pads. I don't know why the fuck they put so much stock in the 40-yard dash. It's so stupid.
All the combine stats are dumb.
It matters though. It matters a lot, and it's dumb.
It's how you slice it and what you value. Like, for slot receivers, like your 10-yard split is really important, but your 40 is not so much. Like, it's stuff like that where they're
the three cone.
I mean, your 3 cone with like defensive ends or your L bend, your L. Like, that stuff matters. Like, to measure bend. Like, there are certain things that do matter. Like,
no, I understand. I'm not saying it's completely pointless. I just think that like it's almost as if the film matters less than their combine performance, and that is what bothers me.
Oh yeah,
that's always dumb.
But then you have players like Jalen Carter, who, despite having probably the historically awful combine, had, and also
he didn't even do anything in the combine.
And he showed up gassed and was terrible.
No, he didn't. No, that was the pro day.
The pro day, but like, same shit. It's a skills competition basically. They show up, they do stuff, they exhibit their ability. He was terrible, clearly out of shape. And then also he was out of shape in that bowl game. Like, in the playoff game where he played against CJ Stroud, he looked awful, but he still managed to be a top 10 pick.
I mean, tape.
It's the tape. Again, that's my point, is the tape should matter more than these fucking bullshit.
That is a lot.
Glorified. It's just a spectacle, in my opinion. Like, the scouting is, it provides useful data points that you can compare other players with. But
that's pretty much it for this. But we can save all of that for next week when we actually do the draft and we yell about the draft.
Well,
let's save that.
I feel like we've got next week. We're gonna yell about our last draft, and then in a few weeks, after we end the season, when we have sequentially fewer games that matter as people are eliminated from either the playoffs or toilet bowl. Um, we will
Yeah, I
we'll
think
have a lot more time to
I think
talk
what
about the upcoming draft and combine and stuff like that.
yeah, what we'll do
And
is
scouting.
we will talk about the playoff matchups, and then we'll basically comment on how the toilet bowl is doing, but I don't think we'll go as in
Yeah,
depth
no, we
into
don't.
all
We're
the
definitely
matchups.
not doing. No, we're just gonna be like, what do you know? Someone got out. Good
Yeah,
luck.
it's like, oh
You're
look,
out.
Scott's in the
Good.
toilet bowl. What a shitter.
Yeah. What a shitter, huh? Steve has a bye. Oh no.
So let's take a look real quick at the first round because that's happening tomorrow. Well,
Yeah, it's
I'll
tomorrow. Well,
post
it
this.
starts next
tomorrow.
I'll post this, and it
Yeah.
will basically be the time, like the following week's games.
It will be it will
start.
be the day of.
Yeah.
Right. This will post Thursday morning.
Yeah. So we got Jordan and Trevor on bye. And then
Steve and
Me and Ben.
yeah, you and
you
Ben,
want to look
yeah.
at the toilet bowl? Yeah. So
Looks
Ben,
like both of all those are the
Those
buys.
are all the buys.
yeah, Ben,
Yeah, those are the buys we
Ben
got.
and Steve got their buys in the toilet bowl. But then in the upper bracket here, we've got John and Danny. Predictions?
Ooh, this is a tough one.
I love you, Danny. You're my bro. Your team is too banged up. I will be pleasantly surprised if you win because I like a good underdog story. But at the same time, John has been. I've talked about this many times this season. He's basically Joe when it comes to fantasy. He's just so fucking unlucky every year. It's always something. Joe almost got bounced this season because of some bullshit, but he had enough good lineup decisions made throughout the season that he managed to lock in the 6 seed by the 6 seed rule. But I'm okay with any of these players winning at this point. John or Danny, I won't
think
be
Mike Evans will
disappointed
have
with
a
the
big
result.
game, but that's about it.
But yeah, I think Danny's team is really, really, really beat up. But Cooper Kupp
He's got a
coming back
chance.
and playing like vintage Cooper Kupp is very promising. He does have a really good quarterback that matters a lot. But John has a lot of really scary players. Like, let's be honest.
And they're going to lean on ETN as well.
Yeah.
They've got to. They have to.
Yeah, they have to. And then you and Casey, this is going to be hard for, again, your team is really banged up. Casey's team is on the upswing, and he's got that deadly 49ers stack.
The 49ers
Ayuk
stack is
Debo shit is crazy.
The 49ers stack is going to carry him because it's against the Cardinals.
And
Josh
the Cardinals
Jacobs
are terrible.
Josh Jacobs is looking like he's not going to play tomorrow, and Tyreek Hill is going to be limited, but he'll still be Tyreek Hill. So
yeah, he's really banged up. Like his ankle is clearly fucked.
Yeah,
but he is determined to break a record this season. So
he'll play.
He's got Megatron in his sights, and he's trying to run him down. The cheetah's going for it. Yep.
I basically need Pacheco or Aaron Jones to play and be marginally better than Calvin Ridley to have any chance. That's about it.
Good luck. I mean, Casey's team is quietly very good.
Oh no, I think
So-
the way I'm banged up, man. It's not.
You're pretty fucked, but you are the underdog. You and Danny, in my opinion, are the underdog, but you are more so the underdog because your injury situation is somehow
bad.
worse than Danny's,
So
which has
bad.
been really bad all season.
So bad.
Danny's injury situation is like it started like week 4 with Nick Chubb. Like
You just get charged.
Danny's been brutalized all season.
You're both getting chargered a little bit.
Dude, if you just look at my bench, the questionable start at Aaron Jones and go to Michael Wilson. And
Yeah,
there's
I'm in favor of
Yeah.
increasing the IR slots for next season.
I think so.
It's
I
been
think
crazy.
necessary, but
At
it's
least
also,
at
like,
least 5. Like 4 it does not seem like enough
4 is not enough.
with how many players we have.
it's
But
Yeah,
of course I'll put it to a vote like everything.
it's
This
rough.
will be a long ballot to vote for at the end of the season.
Do we
want to
go through the toilet bowl?
Fuck the
matchups?
toilet bowl. No one cares about
Alright,
any of these
good.
dog shit
Yeah,
teams.
no, these are
All right,
bad.
good.
I think we can make a
fine.
prediction about who we think is going to be in the toilet bowl. I think I'm going to be there against Steve because I'm terrible.
We can't.
Oh no, that's
Steve has-
right. I play you next week. I forgot.
Yeah.
I got yeah.
Yeah, we
I think
can't.
Steve-
We have to. Yeah,
I think
it's
this is
either
Steve
you
and Ben,
or
dude.
me.
I think-
Probably.
I get my
Like-
vengeance against Josh, and then
It might be me and Matt.
and then lose to Steve, which would be a poetic ending to my season.
I honestly want.
You're
I
at the
want.
toilet bowl.
And then I'm on the toilet. I think I'm gonna get.
Yeah, no,
I haven't
for
scored
me to-
2 touchdowns in 4 weeks, bro. I'm
yeah,
fucked.
no, okay.
Dude, Steve has the least points scored this entire season.
Guess who has the second least points scored in terms of points for max points for?
Dude, I don't know about Max.
You're looking
points.
at him.
Yeah,
My
no,
team is
it's-
awful.
Yeah, Targus has had some more lucky matchups than I have, but
Yep.
still got bounced.
I cursed myself
your
when I
team
beat you
caught
by
up
like
with you.
0.3 points, Steve. That was the end of my
Yep.
season. That week
Yep.
you cursed
That
me.
one, yep, exactly.
Well,
Because it gave me
will-
hope. God
I
damn
will
it.
go out on a limb and say that Ben. I hope Ben wins the toilet bowl and gets the Marvin Harrison Jr. sweepstakes. He deserves it for the season he's had.
Yeah, he's had a brutal season.
Yeah, he's had a brutal
I-
season.
Even though he's
that-
been pretty good, like he's scored a lot of points, he's just been scored on a lot.
Yeah, he's just getting dunked on, and I hope he gets Marvin Harrison Jr. for it.
Well, I think that about wraps it up, guys.
Yep.
Yeah, sounds good.
All right. Well,
All
as
right.
always, defense wins championships.
And
Sure
Steve
does.
sucks.
And fuck you both.
Have a good week.
All right.
Bye.